on ESPN News.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau. We at Action Sports Shacks hope you and your family are doing well. Coronavirus has forced a lot of people to choose between buying food and keeping the lights on. Whether you're one of these people or not, we're all living through this pandemic together. We've partnered with Feeding Northeast Florida for a virtual food drive so you can help without leaving your house. To donate now, go to ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome in on a Wednesday, everybody. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos. And you're listening to Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. You can watch us as well. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I think I saw Leonard Fournette say he's going to get on Twitch. I almost replied, all right.
Playing video games?
ESPN 690 Jacks. Go ahead.
Is he playing video games?
I don't know, but he's definitely not going to be doing it with Popeyes.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Leonard been all-world tweeting the last couple of days.
A lot of people were calling him out for trying to get Popeyes to send him food, but I think he, because he put the price in it, so I think he was just willing to pay.
I don't think he cared about $24.99 is my guess. I think I saw that, right? It was like $24.99. Yeah. I think he can handle that. He's made like $20 million or something.
I think he'll be all right.
On the rookie deal. 27, I think it might be up to. So, Leonard Fournette. He is a fun follow, man. I said it yesterday. I did in sports on CBS 47 and Fox 30. I think he'll go down as one of the most interesting characters we've ever had in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I think he'll be – some people will love him. Some people will hate him. Some hate the pick where it was made. Mm-hmm. The production was there at times, not all the time. You never knew what you were going to get. And he's funny, man. He is so funny. So I think Leonard Fournette will go down as one of the great characters. And it did get me thinking a little bit, at least since I've been here, 2008, who would you put in as some of the great characters on the Jacksonville Jaguars? Mm-hmm. Some good, some bad. Like, listen, we may find out Telvin Smith's in the news here today in the next little bit or not. There are some rumors swirling around about some activity outside his place again. So we're working on that story, and I don't know what that means, but I think Telvin Smith in this whole thing anyway will go down as one of the wild stories, a character, because the first couple of years, I mean, he was fun, right? Yeah. And then the downturn of whatever has happened, will happen, how the end of the story will be written. Could be interesting. So we'll keep you posted on that front. I'm not sure we're going to get too much on a Telvin Smith front today, but we are working the story a little bit and what it's all about and what's happening, if anything, over there.
Are these new things?
Yeah, this would be a new thing today.
Okay.
So I just don't have a lot of details, so I'm a little reluctant to say.
Gotcha.
Other than there's now social media is starting to spread a little bit to where there's some activity outside his place once again. So we'll see if that's how on the money that is. I've had some folks tell me, yeah, it was, but we don't know why, all that stuff. So remember last fall, Telvin had a police presence outside, and there's been nothing done with that. And I'll give you the great irony for me today is this morning, I actually texted or emailed our newsroom and said, hey, is there anything new on the Telvin front? Mm-hmm. Hours later, I'm getting a text from our newsroom saying, hey, can you confirm if anything's going on outside his house?
Yeah.
How bizarre is that? I mean, I just out of the blue asked, hey, is there anything new on this? And so we'll see if anything materializes on that front. But, in a different way, I think from a character point of view, Telvin, where this ends up, we'll see. But, I mean, he's got the great personalities to wear a Jags uniform those first few years. He was fun. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting over the years to see what guys you cover. You cover a lot of good people in that locker room, a lot of fun personalities. A lot of times they weren't able to showcase their personality because maybe the lack of wins and et cetera. I would say one of the great characters. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, hands down, is one of the great characters that we've covered with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, you know who else is on this list that people probably wouldn't be pretty high on the list?
Who you got?
But it's underrated, is Bortles.
I mean, I didn't get to really share a locker room with him at all, but obviously you see him on Barstool, you see him on all these things. So I would definitely put him in that list as well. And the city of Jacksonville obviously gravitated towards him as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those were fun. Could have some really fun moments.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, what I'm wondering now, like, I don't think Del Rio was kind of like this great character. Coughlin was Stern Coughlin when he was a coach.
I think Del Rio was a character because he would rock like the stuff on the sidelines. I mean,
That's a good call.
He stood out because the guy would rock a blazer in the middle of Jacksonville in the middle of the summertime in a football game.
Got sunglasses on.
Yeah, so like to me, he stood out because of that.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. I never really felt that way, covered him from a media standpoint that he was. Gus was a really good guy. But Marone has developed into a little bit of a character. I mean, you'll get some just off the wall things sometimes. He's become very comfortable and behind that podium, and he can let loose. I actually feel like from a coaching standpoint, he might be one of the great characters at the end of the day. I think goes with that is winning, the quips, the fun. And how you kind of do in front of a microphone. I mean, for the outside world to see. Like you would maybe say there's a bunch of guys that are great characters in your locker room that you played with, but we might not see it.
Yeah,
from
for
the
sure.
outside,
I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like when I think of characters, like obviously Pot Roast was a great character. Jeremy Minshew was a great character. But to me, like the characters that are like in the spotlight and that, kind of let it be known that they're characters. Like, I mean, I think Leonard Fournette, like maybe on a national level, well, he's a character now because he was talking smack about Jalen Ramsey getting choked out by AJ Green. So like that give him some kind of notoriety. But I think usually the way it works is if you are kind of like that character guy, especially at a position like running back, quarterback, wide receiver, odds are you may not be the most successful player, because I mean, I think Gronk's an exception. Antonio Brown, when he first started out, was just kind of this quiet, kind of just a low-key kind of guy. Obviously, when he went to the Raiders, then that kind of transpired into this media frenzy. And obviously, I think, his play and his attitude suffered from that. So it's hard to balance, I think, being a character, and doing that whole brand thing, especially from positions like a quarterback or running back or wide receiver, where all eyes are always on you, and try to make it into a successful thing for your career.
Well, and by the way, Gardner Minshew, if he finds some success, I mean, he already is one of the great characters actually in Jaguars history, but it could be really short-lived or it could be really long-term, and how he changes that, down the line. If he is successful this year, it's really interesting. I mean, we had no idea where we were going here today, but we kind of just stumbled upon it. But see, I kind of always say this about Bortles, right? Bortles is this fun guy. He is a character. I think he's cool. He's good to be around. I think a good teammate. I think people like him. But there was always something missing about Bortles. Like I would always say, if you want to be elite in the NFL, how many guys are going on the Barstool stuff at the quarterback position? Like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, they don't do that stuff. There's this CEO kind of aspect to being a quarterback that I don't think Bill Lake had. And listen, when he first enters the league and when you're winning games like in 2017, that's a fun thing, when you're on Barstool and it's kind of funny. When you're losing games and things aren't going well, or you're not playing well, it doesn't add up, So that's interesting to me. Now, Minshew is not in that respect. Minshew is just such a different animal, different character in himself. But I do wonder, say he has success this year. Say he becomes the franchise quarterback, and he's a franchise quarterback. Let's just short-term it for 5 years, okay? Can he keep this character, or does he squash the character a little bit and take more of the CEO kind of QB of the NFL role on? Even though that's not necessarily who he is, but does he kind of adapt to that guy rather than the guy we saw last year? And no, it's going to be interesting to see the maturation. Listen, right now this is his franchise. He's the face of the franchise. How can you be that way at the quarterback spot?
Listen, he didn't change who he was when he went to Washington State under a rough situation, came in there, won the starting quarterback spot, and kind of got the leadership of that locker room. He didn't change then, and he didn't change, obviously, his rookie year of the NFL when he became the starter. So I don't expect him to change. I just expect Gardner Minshew to be Gardner Minshew. Now, if that's the bandana wearing, jean short, rocking kind of guy, then so be it. I mean, as long as you're producing on the field, you can be whoever you want to be, as long as you're being yourself. And that's who I think Gardner Minshew truly is. So I'm not going to be surprised if we're talking about 3 or 4 years down the line where, Gardner Minshew's still, being successful in the NFL and still doing the exact same thing, because that's what he's done his entire life.
And this kind of comes up because towards the end of last show, we were talking about Dennis Rodman and how he was kind of, himself. And Jordan and Pippen embraced that because as long as you're performing, right, it's going well. So is there like a side to it where if they're seeing who Minshew is, that, one of their leaders is comfortable being himself, does that have an effect in the locker room?
No, without a doubt. Like Minshew's not going to get along with everybody just because, he's not going to adapt to everybody. Like Leonard Fournette even said, this guy's rocking the jock strap when he's stretching. Like, that's weird to a lot of people. Okay, that's not normal behavior in an NFL locker room. But it works because you know why? When he steps on the field, he's dominant. He's that dog, as they say. And, and to compare him to Dennis Rodman. See, Dennis Rodman, to me, he was troubled. Like, Dennis Rodman was always praised for being himself, but at the same time, he was troubled. If you watch his documentary, man, he talks about where the first couple years in Detroit, he was well-mannered and didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't go out, and then when the head coach of Detroit got fired, that was like his father figure, because his father figure was never there.
Chuck Daly.
Exactly. So Chuck Daly gets fired. All of a sudden, he's in a situation where, he doesn't know what to do. He has nobody to confide in because he's not a social guy. Well, now he's finding himself in a parking lot ready to blow his brains out. And then thankfully he didn't do that. He ends up going to San Antonio then, and it's more of the same thing, right? He starts to kind of act out a little bit because he doesn't know who he is as a person. Starts dating Carmen Electra, dates Madonna. Madonna tells him, hey, go ahead and let your freak flag fly and just be yourself. Well, then this is where all the crazy hair colors and all the crazy parties come into play. And he's even said it. He's like, when I was at the bar, when I was acting out, when I was buying people drinks, I was doing it for the camaraderie. They didn't care about Dennis Rodman. They just wanted to be part of the ride. When the ride was over, no one cared about Dennis Rodman anymore. So I think Dennis Rodman was more of a troubled guy in the standpoint of he didn't really know who he was, right? He kind of acted out a little more, maybe for attention or just to play the role. I think with Gardner Minshew, it's genuinely who Gardner Minshew is.
Yeah, I agree. He knows exactly who he is. Listen, I think it's a far cry to compare Rodman to Minshew in that respect. But what's interesting to me is just the position. Mm-hmm. The quarterback position in general, the leader of the team, often a CEO. And by the way, you have had some characters at that spot before. From, I think, if you go way back in the day, right? I think Ken Stabler would have fit that, I believe. I wasn't really around to see all that, but I think the stories are there for it. Joe Namath, obviously. Namath's probably the most famous of it.
Yeah.
But even recently, listen, Jim McMahon for the Chicago. I say recently when I'm alive and watching, but won the Super Bowl. Now he wasn't an elite quarterback for a long time. It was kind of a one-year thing, and it was everybody else that surrounded him. I mean, anybody else come to mind the last 20 years, like in terms of the characters? Listen, everybody's got personality. Like Brett Favre has personality, but he's not that. Like you don't think of it like that.
I don't think of Flutie to be. I mean, Flutie that wasn't really a character, but just like his story, his size. I mean, that was that was a thing, But it. I mean,
you don't see from that position
Mike
very
Vick
often.
either, really, because Mike Vick, I mean, he wasn't a character. It was just his style of play kind of dictated like he was the new fresh
That's
face.
what felt different.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a double standard. Like the quarterback position, listen, it probably comes with the most money, the most responsibility, but it's also the highest double standard, maybe even in sports. Because it's funny, because everyone wants to say, well, Aaron Rodgers, he's not a really nice guy. He can be a jerk. Well, I've seen Aaron Rodgers on Barstool. I've seen Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah.
And to me, Aaron Rodgers is the guy you want to have a whiskey with. People always say that, but then if Aaron Rodgers struggles in a game, then it's like, oh, he's got to dump Danica Patrick. He should have stayed with his ex-girlfriend. All that stuff, man. You're not talking about any other player. You're not talking about a running back like that. You're not talking about a wide receiver like that. It's just, it is the true double standard in professional sports. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's how it is, man.
Modern day, right now in terms of the current quarterbacks, I think he might be the one. Now, he doesn't come across with jorts and bandana and mustache, but he does come with this kind of characteristic that doesn't fit a lot of other quarterbacks. Now, listen, many quarterbacks these days are dating stars or married to stars like Brady and Russell Wilson, you know. Yep. So he's kind of lived in that arena. But I think you're right. You will see Rodgers on those kind of platforms that you don't see a lot of other quarterbacks. I'm not saying they never go on it, by the way. You probably have an example of more. But Rodgers is more like that. And also, Rodgers is the quarterback of this time that comes across as a diva.
Correct.
You know, that's usually reserved for wide receivers or corners or somebody like that. The quarterbacks, even though they might be, they don't come across that way. Aaron Rodgers does. Like, he comes across as a diva.
I don't understand why. Like, if this guy's out here doing these interviews with, you know, like the Barstool Sports, and it's like, it's casual, it's laid back, it's not professional. Every once in a while, you might see him on Twitter or something like that, on Instagram. Like, the guy's out here living his life. And people love that. People love to see the behind the access. People love to see when he has a podcast with Danica Patrick and he talks about the locker room a little bit. People eat that stuff up, especially in Wisconsin. But then if he doesn't agree with the coach on the sideline, then it's like, hey, we should have called this play, we called whatever. Then it's like, oh, this guy's a diva.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't understand it, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fickle position.
It is
in that sense.
Yeah.
But I would say he is unique in that sense. Like, I don't really consider. Again, there might be divas all. I mean, Peyton Manning might have been the biggest diva of all. I mean, who knows the stories behind it, but just didn't present itself that way.
Exactly, and you never saw Peyton Manning doing, like, you know, just casual interviews like that either. You know, Peyton Manning for the most part wasn't around social media and all that stuff.
No, but at the later part of his career, and especially now after, but even the later part of his career, became Saturday Night Live and commercial guy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
So he had more Joe Namath in him maybe than anybody ever really thought. Just didn't come across that way.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting stuff that's related to the quarterback position in general. Today on the show, talk a little bit about backup QB's Jameis Winston deal. You know what everybody wants to know? Why didn't everybody sign him for that much?
No kidding, man.
Would he have come to Jacksonville? Would he have gone anywhere for that price? Let's begin there. And we also have an interview with Colin Johnson, Jaguars' 5th-round pick. Had some fun with that today. We will talk to the wide receiver out of Texas and much more here on a Wednesday edition of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Your call's always welcome, 904-362-9901. We didn't plan it, but we did ask, who are some of your favorite characters in Jaguars history? Some of the players. Let us know. And if anything comes along on the Telvin Smith front, we'll keep you posted. I'm getting a lot of questions about it, so we will keep an eye on that situation as well. I also have a couple of thoughts on the Telvin Smith front, regardless of what's maybe happening this afternoon. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warmer today into partly sunny skies. The afternoon high around 85. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
When your car needs service, you want a safe place to go. That place is Arlington Toyota. Here's how Arlington has enhanced safety in their service department to keep you and their team of technicians safe. You can drop off your vehicle and Arlington will give you a solo ride home, so you don't have to wait on site. Arlington will even pick up your vehicle from you and return it free through April 30th. And speaking of sanitized, Arlington is cleaning the steering wheel, center consoles, and gear shift with sanitizing wipes as an added precaution. And if you come in, Arlington has enhanced its cleaning measures using hospital-grade sanitizing products and cleaning high-touch surfaces every hour. They've also increased the space between seats in their lounges and cashier lines to maintain the safe 6-foot distance recommended by the CDC. Oh, and if you need parts, you can order them and pay for them online, and Arlington will deliver them for free until April 30th as well. The service, parts, and collision departments at Arlington Toyota are open, and they've adjusted their hours to best serve you. Get the latest updates or schedule your appointment at arlingtontoyota.com today. And most of all, stay well and know that Arlington is here for you.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number
CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Wash your hands. Avoid sick people and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
When you think about your AC system, do you think cool, clean, efficient air? Or maintenance, costly repairs, filters, refrigerant, wear and tear from our extreme Jacksonville temperatures, year-round humidity, and salty air? You know that most of the time, AC ownership is anything but stress-free. That's why Wakehoff's AC offers stress-free AC ownership. For a low monthly cost, starting at just $100 per month, you get a brand new efficient AC system with a smart thermostat. All of your repairs are covered with both parts and labor at no charge. Wakehoff's is going to conduct all your maintenance visits for free, keeping your system running cool, efficient, and clean. And they'll even take care of all your filters. Starting at just $100 per month or just $155 a month for the highest performing system. Imagine a brand new efficient system. No cost repairs, no cost maintenance, no cost filters, no stress. It's the stress-free AC program from Wakehoff's. Call them today, 880-5525 or wakehoffsac.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
It's time to get out there and make one-to-one contact. Yep, that's what we said. Make contact with the right potential employees. If you're a hiring manager or run your own business, this is the time to reimagine your workforce. It's time to build that talent pipeline you've never had time to focus on building. Career Builder can help you match your business needs with over 140 job seeker profiles. These are proactive job seekers who have the time to research and care about your company and its culture. And when you're ready to hit reboot, Career Builder will help you staff up more quickly with a 98% match rate, meaning Career Builder matches your open roles with vetted, qualified candidates right to your inbox. Visit hiring.careerbuilder.com to view our products, post a job, get insider advice, and let our technology connect you to top talent. Now, more than ever, we're working to support the mainstream American workforce and to help you rebuild fast. Visit hiring.careerbuilder.com. Career Builder, we're building for you.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small. But businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Massey Services, Elegance Home Painting, A-Plus Quality Fence, Charles Aquatics, Champion Septic, Stewart Lighting. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Any plan right now is, it's just that. It's a plan, and nobody really has an answer for anything. But, I think baseball players want to play. We want to play. We miss the game. We want to be out there, but we also, we don't want to be away from our families for 4 or 5 months quarantined in a hotel. So I think there's probably a happy medium that we can get to where everybody is satisfied with the safety of, ourselves, our families, the fans, and everybody else, and also gets to play baseball. And that's, there's a lot of people smarter than me figuring that out right now. So I'm thankful for that.
That is Clayton Kershaw, former Jacksonville Sun, by the way, Dodger left-hander. And Major League Baseball has all these contingencies, and there are talks of no American League and National League and breaking up divisions and playing in Arizona, playing in Florida. I do think what he said there is probably a prevailing thought amongst players. We don't want to be sequestered away from our families for months.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people would sign up for that. Now, are you willing to give up paychecks? Well, guess what? Clayton Kershaw probably is willing. He signed a deal worth $300 million.
He's going to be all right.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in terms of college football. There's some new information out even on the college football side. And there is a lot of reopening talk going on right now in our country, in our state, in our city. And how does it pertain to sports? I mean, sports is a big element of this. Big element. Like when you talk to or listen to whether it's President Trump, governors, mayors, sports is part of the conversation and how they're going to do it. And so we'll have a little bit more of that conversation coming up a little bit later on. Part of the conversation we started with today, we really didn't even plan on it, which I always like when it becomes organic like that in the first minute of a show. Hopefully you like the topic. But we're we're asking you, who are some of the great characters really in Jaguars history? And I think they come in all different shapes and sizes, personalities, and likability. Some names we threw out there, just more of the recent current players, anywhere from Telvin Smith to Jalen Ramsey to Leonard Fournette to Gardner Minshew and even Blake Bortles. Listen, Jeremy Parnell, I wouldn't put in the great character pile.
Yeah.
Scary guy.
Yeah,
put him in that pile.
For sure.
Not in the great character pile. Who else? Who else comes to mind when it comes to great characters? Here's one that will make the news a lot, but I would not, and has performed really well, but I wouldn't put him in this pile, and that's Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Now, I think this drama and the story and everything else will play out someday, and you can put it in a different bucket, but it's not going in that bucket. He's not one of the great characters that we've seen in a Jaguars uniform. So hopefully you understand the context of it. Play along if you want. Maybe we'll revisit it. 904-362-9901, *690. You're always invited to any topic here on the show and also on social media. You can play along there as well. Jameis Winston signs a deal, which essentially is like $1 million deal. Yeah. I mean, the New Orleans Saints are paying Jameis Winston, who led the league in yardage last year, the same amount of money that the Rams paid Blake Bortles to be their backup quarterback last year.
For sure.
They both have one thing in common. They turned it over a bunch.
There you go.
Keep in mind the Jags were paying $5.5 million, I think it was, of Bortles' contract. Yeah. So the Bucs are not on the hook. But it's a great deal for the Saints. And you understand what Jameis is doing. He called it the Harvard education of NFL quarterback rooms.
And keep in mind, I think it comes out to like $3 or $4 million with incentives.
It does,
providing that he meets them. So,
but he's got to play.
No,
right?
Of course, yeah.
And so that makes sense. But it's still, I mean, it's only really costing them at face value around $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a great move by Jameis because he sees the writing on the wall. You're not going to be a starting quarterback next year for the NFL season, okay? It's just not going to happen. You're going to be a backup. So if you're going to be a backup and you have some money in the bank, why wouldn't you go to probably the best place to be, the best player to learn from, the best coaches to be around in the New Orleans Saints? Why wouldn't you do that, improve your game, and then once that year is up, you're free to go wherever you want? It obviously paid dividends for Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater actually had a chance to be a starting quarterback last year if he left the Saints. He didn't. He stayed an extra year, played behind Drew Brees. His number was called. He did okay. They won ball games because of Teddy Bridgewater, and now what happened? Starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. New coaching staff, new regime, everything. So I think Jameis Winston has played this very nicely. The issue, though, is now if you're Cam Newton, you're on Instagram with your crazy font wondering, hey, man, you just took it for $1 million? What am I going to get now?
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for setting the market.
Because the whole market now is about to kind of take a deep dive just because Jameis Winston led the NFL in passes or NFL in TDs in the last year. Is playing for $1 million, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, it is a little bizarre to think that. Good situation for Jameis, right? I mean, it's the best quarterback room in the league. Am I missing something? I mean, it's the best quarterback room in the league. You got Drew Brees, one of the greats of all time. Jameis Winston, again, who's got a track record of being able to play the position, even though he makes some mistakes. You've got an offensive-minded coach. And by the way, you have Taysom Hill, who you just gave $21 million to.
No, for sure. I mean, I would argue either them or probably the Chiefs have the best, setup for quarterbacks in the NFL.
And the Chiefs have Henny.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, listen, I saw Matt Moore last year almost win a couple ball games and put up 30 points a game in that system. So,
you brought up
something to be said for that.
It's interesting that you brought up Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about two different guys, but just hear me out. Like, Bortles did go to L.A. on that deal to hopefully turn it into something. So, you're right. Bridgewater, he stayed, turns it into something, $20 million a year. Bortles was not able to do so. He played I think he played for a couple of snaps, and that was about it. And nothing doing, right? I mean, Bortles still out there. Bortles, nobody even talks about him. Is he even going to be in the NFL this season? I would think he'll find a way to be on somebody's roster, but not a guarantee. So it can work, and it might not work in some situations. Here's why it's brilliant for Jameis, though. Because Drew Brees might retire after the season. I mean, he might retire. So it's a really good spot for him to take it's good foresight on his part to say, all right, don't worry about the $5 million or whatever else million. Just go right here and get better. Go under the radar for a little bit. Play if I need to play. And if not, I might get my chance anyway. They might keep me here. They might need a quarterback. Really good situation for the Saints, potentially, if they like him and they can fix his deficiencies, which is turning the football over, and then they wouldn't have to invest in a young QB. Now, they've got a little bit of drama potentially that could happen. They've got the Jameis thing. They've got will he or won't he retire and Drew Brees, which is a year-to-year thing. I think most recently he said he wouldn't mind playing two more years, but we'll see what happens when you're 40-something years old. And then they have the Taysom Hill situation where Taysom Hill just got handsomely paid, but he does want to be a quarterback. Like, he thinks he can play quarterback in the NFL.
Half on playing tight end, half on going on the kick return team and the punt team. Like, Taysom, you just got to understand what you're doing there, okay? You're not getting paid to be a backup quarterback.
I know, I don't see it, but I'm just saying he might. So they might have some drama that could unfold there.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. And people are going to defend, well, if Taysom Hill would have played against the Minnesota Vikings in the divisional round, the Saints would have won possibly. No, I don't think Taysom Hill right now. Listen, you saw it firsthand. The Saints put a first-round tender on him. No team stepped up because every team understands what we understand. It's the fact that Taysom Hill is probably not a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he's got a 40% completion percentage or 50%? Something low, whatever it is. I mean, it's not a lot of passes, but I think Taysom Hill was brought back to do what he does, to be the X factor, to play tight end, to play wide receiver, to run the wildcat, to go on special teams and make plays. Now, will maybe he get some reps, when Drew Brees goes out for some of those special packages? Absolutely. But you got to believe if Drew Brees goes down with an injury, knock on wood, Jameis Winston's going to be the guy that comes in and tries to take over.
Yeah, what's really interesting is, did you see the stat where Taysom Hill, I think through 7 passes to Saints players, completed 7 passes, and Jameis Winston 10 in his career or something? I think that was the stat.
I like it.
It was but all the interceptions Jameis has thrown against New Orleans.
I like it.
That's a great stat. It was really well done.
There's a lot of teams that have a lot of interceptions against Jameis Winston.
Hey, so 2 questions then around Jameis Winston. If it was only that much and maybe Jameis Winston wouldn't have mind coming to Jacksonville too. He could see the same kind of writing. First of all, he doesn't have to leave Florida, but
he's not doing it for $1 million, though.
No. It would have been more. But so my point of this is, why didn't the Jags make a run? Should they have made a run? If he was looking for opportunity more than dollars, which I think is kind of what he proved here, couldn't the Jaguars have made a run? And wouldn't this be enticing to a guy like Winston? Now, listen, we both think this is Minshew's year. We're okay with that. But I think you have to also look at it from the outside point of view. I saw something, I think, in the New York Post, 10 free agents still available. So the national thought is still the Jaguars are a viable option for a guy like Cam Newton. I don't think there's a chance he's coming here. But they still think so. You know what I mean? So if you're Jameis, would you have said, hey, I can go beat this guy out? I mean, look at him. He's a 6th-round pick. Why not come over here? And I might make $5 million. It would be affordable for the Jags, a viable option, a guy who's played a lot of football, and somewhat affordable these days. Even $5 million backup doesn't seem like it's holding you down.
Listen, I think it'd be more than $5 million to get Jameis in Jacksonville.
I don't know what the number
because,
is.
Listen, word on the street is that the Steelers offered to bring him in too, and the Steelers offered him a lot more money than the Saints did, and Jameis chose to go to New Orleans because of the coaching staff and because of that locker room. So, in order for him to come to Jacksonville, man, yeah, I mean, I think we're talking $9-10 million. Now, does he have a chance to play? Absolutely. Let's say theoretically Gardner Minshew struggles this season, and all of a sudden they go back to Jameis Winston. Okay, then he gets the playing time, and that's what you want if you're a backup quarterback. But I think he kind of saw the grand scheme of things of, if he was to come to Jacksonville, what kind of pieces are in place for the future? What does he have to work with? We don't know if the coaching staff's going to be here next year. There's a lot of question marks right now if you're a quarterback coming to Jacksonville. I think Jameis recognized that, obviously, and I think he just sees New Orleans as the best situation possible. And if that means, taking a couple $1 million here or there, taking that hit, so be it, because in the long run, it's going to pay off for him.
Yeah, I think he ended up in a good spot. I like this. I said it about Bortles before, too. I would say it about Bridgewater. I think these guys to take a little backseat, and when you can get in a situation like that, whether it's learning from Tom Brady or whoever else, that can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. Even at their stage of the career, they can maybe pick up something that changes their career. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things with players. People don't understand the development of players, or they don't talk about enough. The guy that comes to mind, well, listen, I'll give you a baseball guy, Daniel Murphy. He found his swing. He found something, 5 or 6 years into his professional career, and then bam, all of a sudden, NLCS MVP, 300 hitter, guy that's making $40 million, over a couple of years. That happens in sports. In football, and I know it's a little bit different, but Josh Lambo has said it. He got kicked out of San Diego at the time with the Chargers, and he feels like he's never going to miss a kick again. I mean, no, that's not reality, but he said he found something. Like he told me in an interview one time, it was the final 2 weeks or week and a half of being in San Diego, which he always found humorous. He said, I found something. Like there was something he worked on in his mechanics or whatever else that gave him the confidence. And bam, all of a sudden he was on the street. Well, ever since he's been here, he's been very good. So he wasn't lying. He found something along the way. So could Jameis find something that clicks? Now, I know that's a big if, but this is a good way to do it is my point. I like the idea of doing this if I'm Jameis Winston. Guy's already made a good amount of money. You don't need the paycheck. Now go, work on your craft to the point where you can get paid again, but then deliver for a long time to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart move. And listen, anytime you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, there's going to be some ego behind that. And not everybody can just go from a starting quarterback throwing the most touchdowns in the NFL last season and go, you know what? I got to work on myself, man, because I threw out interceptions last year too. And I'm not where I need to be a starting quarterback. Let me go ahead and play the backup role a little bit. Let me go ahead and go back to the classroom and learn. And, kind of add to my game a little bit. So by the time it comes to next season, I'm ready to roll. Not every player can do that. I mean, we'll see if Cam Newton can do that. We'll see if Cam Newton's taking, $1 million to come play for somebody, because not everyone can do that, Brent. It takes a special type of person to admit that they're not that good right now to be a starting quarterback, to take the pay cut and then go learn some more.
Do keep in mind Cam Newton at a different stage of it, too. He's played a lot longer in the league. He's coming off injuries, all those things. But Jameis still a very young guy, to be able to do that. Best backups in the NFL. The rooms, you said Kansas City because of the experience there with Henne and more. I mean, obviously, I'll go right down the list. I mean, I don't even, who's backing up in Buffalo? I don't even know. The Jets don't jump out at me. The Dolphins are interesting, right? They got Fitzpatrick, who's actually going to be their starter, and Tua is probably going to be their backup to start things. The Ravens, they have RG3 still as their backup.
RG3, and then they got Trace McSorley out of Penn State. But no, see, I like that though, because both those guys can run systematically a lot like what Jackson can run, all right? Because they're both very mobile quarterbacks. I mean, is RG3 Lamar Jackson? Absolutely not. But he can do shades of the same thing. So to me, I like having the fact that you have essentially 3 quarterbacks in that room that are mobile that can run your offense.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers have Mason Rudolph once Ben comes back. I don't know how much I'm in love with Mason Rudolph, but he does have a little experience. Yeah. Who are the Browns? Oh, they brought in, what's his name? Case
Keenum.
Keenum, yeah. Yep. And that's fine, whatever. It's fine. It's not like great, but it's fine. Yep. Cincinnati. Well, what's interesting, if they keep Dalton, and that's kind of, I was going to hold off on them because if it spins back, if Jacksonville adds Dalton, I think they're in a great spot. You got a guy who's worked with Gruden before. I said this yesterday on the show, or maybe it was Monday. I feel so much better about the Jaguars' room if Dalton's on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's going. I don't know if he's going to be on the roster. I thought about it more. I think he's going to have too many suitors. Like, why wouldn't the Patriots even take a run at him?
Well, do you think Cincinnati cuts him, first of all?
And if they don't, I mean, $17 million is a lot for your back. I know people are okay with a lot of money in their backups now. It's a little different.
I mean,
that's a lot. We just had that situation. The Jags got rid of Foles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the Colts have Brissett. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's not a bad room.
Yep.
You know, the Titans.
Especially a guy that's been there before, too. Brissett, you know, he's coming through the system.
Do? Behind Tannehill. I don't even remember. The Chiefs you mentioned. The Broncos have Locke, and then the Raiders.
Titans have Logan Woodside.
Yeah, whatever. The Raiders always want more quarterbacks.
Well, they have Mariota.
Oh, they got Mariota, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
good by name.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't hurt.
There's a lot of starts.
Yeah.
Yep. Chargers have Tyrod Taylor and now Herbert, so they're going with a young guy. I think that kind of eliminates him from this kind of conversation. The Eagles just drafted Jalen Hurts, so they're going to make sure that room is pretty strong. The Giants and the Cowboys, the Redskins. The Redskins brought Kyle Allen over. The Packers now have a first-round pick.
Yeah. We know how we feel about that.
And then, you know, Chicago has a lot of investment in their room, although I don't know if anybody would want either one of them as their starter.
Yeah.
You know?
So, like, as far as the quarterback rooms are concerned, the ones that stick out to me, I like the Ravens, what they do. If Andy Dalton stays in Cincinnati, I like that, to try to groom Joe Burrow a little bit, a guy that's been in the system for a while there in Cincinnati. I like the coach with Jacoby Brissett because he's done it last year. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua, obviously, in Miami. The Saints, you can't fault them, obviously.
Saints have the best room.
Yeah. And then I don't mind either the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford and Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel's always been the guy that's kind of been that go-to backup quarterback role. He's played, spent some time in New Orleans with Drew Brees, spent some time in Kansas City, and now he's in Detroit. So I think he's a great backup quarterback.
Chase Daniel's making some money in the NFL.
You better believe it,
and
man.
I don't know how many snaps he's even had.
Who knows? But he's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while.
So you know, listen. People have invested in the quarterback. That's really kind of the point of it. Should the Jags have invested a little more, maybe to bring Jameis in? I don't love the idea of that because I like Minshew as the guy, and I think it would threaten that, to be honest. I think that would add some pressure to threaten that. I do think their room, just to recap, if they put Dalton in that room for a decent price tag, I mean, I'm not going over the moon for Andy Dalton, but if they can get that, I really like their quarterback room then. Now you've got a guy in Minshew that you think you can do it. You've got a guy in Dalton who's played a ton of football and has won football games and has taken teams to the playoffs. And might be dynamic, might not be a starter anymore in the league, but he certainly could be labeled one of the better backups. And then you have some young guys that either have been around like Dobbs or now you can invest in and see what you have in Luton. Becomes a pretty good room. But Dalton needs to make me feel that way. They need to add him to make me feel that way. I would say they have way too much inexperience the way it sits right now. I mean, I'm not that comfortable in their room right now because of how much youth they have in that quarterback room.
Well, and you understand where I'm coming from. Like, I want Andy Dalton here, but it's not for his pedigree. It's not for his experience. I want Andy Dalton here because he can help Gardner Minshew with the system. That's all the reason I want Andy Dalton in here. If Gardner Minshew gets benched or, knock on wood, he gets injured or something like that, do I feel confident with Andy Dalton going in to lead the Jacksonville Jaguars? Absolutely not, you know, and I don't really feel confident with Jacoby Brissett going back in for the Colts. I don't feel confident really with Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the Dolphins the whole time just because we've seen the ups and downs of Ryan Fitzpatrick. But what I'm confident in with those guys is they're around the system. They know what it is to be, you know, in that kind of program. So I want Andy Dalton in Jacksonville just to teach and groom Gardner Minshew more than anything. I'm not confident if Andy Dalton goes in to win ball games for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is kind of contradictory of what you want in a backup quarterback. But at the same time, this is the Gardner Minshew audition hour of 2020. Okay, so I want all the tools possible for Gardner Minshew to succeed. Andy Dalton gives you that tool for Gardner Minshew to succeed.
All right, a couple of comments on two different topics. One, great characters in Jags history. John Henderson has to be one, Calais another, but maybe a different angle, Robert Sixto said. Mary says, nope on the quarterback situation. My mini Minshew grandson, who was a big fan of him, by the way, said the Jaguars did not give enough help to Gardner Minshew. I don't know if I disagree with you. I don't know if enough help. They gave some, but maybe not enough. There are a couple people making crab legs jokes, of course, with Jameis Winston. He'll never get away from that, I don't think. Robert also said, Minshew ride or die at this point. If it doesn't work out, new QB, maybe new front office next year.
Well, let me ask you this then. So we've been talking about it the whole time. 2020, it's going to be the year of Gardner Minshew auditioning for the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars, for being the guy maybe for the next. Really going to be the thing, or do you keep him or do you try to tank for Trevor? Okay. The way it stands right now on paper for the Jacksonville Jaguars, do you think Gardner Minshew has enough to have the fair addition? Like, whatever happens this upcoming season, Brent, whether they win 2 games or they go to the playoffs, do you think right now, with the way the roster looks, this is going to be the ultimate tell for Gardner Minshew? It's going to be fair to him to see if he is the guy going forward or not.
I think, listen, we did that whole exhibition yesterday, right, where we compared him to all the other young quarterbacks in the NFL and what they have and weapons. We took 8 quarterbacks, and he was 6th on the list in terms of how we felt. Maybe a tie for 5 with me because I thought the Giants and him were alike. So I think he's in the conversation to have enough. I think he has enough to prove your point. I think he has enough to see what you can do, to operate, to be successful. And part of a quarterback job, by the way, and we haven't seen that around here, is to make those guys better. Yeah. Like, can Gardner Minshew do that? Like, we haven't seen that. That's what Aaron Rodgers does. That's what Tom Brady does. Yeah. That's what those guys do. Can he do that? But I would be lying to you if I said I thought he has the best chance. I think Kyler Murray. I think Drew Lock. I think those guys are set up better than Minshew.
Here's what I'm asking. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Obviously, I think Gardner Minshew is going to be great. But let's say Gardner Minshew struggles in the next season. And let's say we're sitting here after the season, horrible season, and we're sitting here saying, man, Gardner Minshew has no excuses because he had the weapons there that he just didn't use them. Are we going to have that conversation? Are we going to have the conversation saying, well, they could have did more. They could have did more.
They could always do more, but if Gardner Minshew struggles, it will be on him.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad in Jacksonville on offense, in my opinion. When we come back, more football talk, of course, a conversation with Colin Johnson coming up in a little bit, and we'll also see what's happening with the Telvin Smith situation on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Gonna give me some of that
Kuz.
It's unreal.
That's the most impressive thing Kuz has ever done.
Oh, without a doubt.
Here on the show.
That was very nice.
It's the best use of star 690 ever.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
This is Dave Binion, owner of Zero Res. Here's some good news. Zero Res received some stimulus funding from the government. There are 3 things that I would like to do with this money. First, I want to help slow the spread of COVID-19 by making your home a cleaner, healthier, and safer place to live. Second, I want to keep our employees working so they can provide for their families and keep the economy running. Third, I want to help those in need. So here's my plan. Now through the end of April, Zero Res is offering 25% off all services. That's cleaning carpets, area rugs, tile and grout, upholstery, everything. This also includes stain protectant, pet urine treatments, ceiling grout, and granite countertops. 25% off everything. Also, we ask that you submit someone that you know that is in need. Zero Res will clean the carpets in the home of one family in need each day, absolutely free. Help Zero Res fight against the spread of COVID-19. Keep the economy going and help those in need. Give us a call at 287-5727. That's 287-5727. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Hello?
Hey, boss.
Why are you calling me?
Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing.
Oh, that's responsible of you.
Thanks. So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks of Us newsletter.
If it's about Safe Touch security, I don't want to hear it.
Boss, you'll want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with Safe Touch Security.
Safer at home with Safe Touch?
Yeah. It says, with people staying home more than ever these days, Safe Touch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home.
Yeah, the guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Yeah, and more.
Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks of Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Hey everyone, Jawan Taylor here, University of Florida, and you're watching Action Sports Jacks. Go Gators.
Being a part of New Orleans Saints, a part with Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, Sean Payton, Coach Joe Lombardi, Coach Pete Carmichael Jr. When you think about that room, I mean, that's like a Harvard education in quarterback school.
That is Jameis Winston talking about the New Orleans Saints, and I'm not sure he's wrong. It's pretty good. Really good situation for Jameis Winston. Trying to find the tweet I tweeted out earlier today, and that would have to do with the NCAA. Did you see?
No.
Thanks for following me on Twitter.
You're welcome. I mean, I follow you on Twitter. I just don't go on Twitter all the time.
You should.
Well, you know, all that sign, you can try to find the article instead of sign about it.
No, I've already got it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm just sign for dramatic effect.
I got you.
I like that when I'm watching stuff on closed captioning.
Yeah.
And I see sigh. And,
for sure.
It's amazing how good the closed captioning can be.
So sometimes they're in depth, man. Like, and sometimes you catch things you don't even know is there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's strange too?
Yeah.
Is Kaylee watches the shows with closed captioning. It's bizarre.
It's distracting to me.
Yeah, it is. You find yourself watching that sometimes more than the show.
Well, listen, when I watch my Japanese cartoons, obviously there's captions there.
Sense.
You know, that makes sense. And it's not really that a distraction because I have to read to follow along.
Yes, it's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I need that. But if it's in English, man, and you got things popping up on the screen, no, man. Come on, no.
It is wild, though. She does
What's up with that?
I don't get it. I don't know. That's odd to me.
Brent, you better get
Either
control of your household,
doesn't want to turn it off, or
better get control of your household, man. That's how it starts. It starts with closed captioning. Next thing you're on TikTok doing God knows what, man.
It might have started with TikTok first and then got to closed captioning.
I got you.
But yeah, it's interesting. You know, how much have our habits changed? Have you ever thought about this? How much you are watching ESPN, whatever they have on, and how much your eyes take you to the bottom line more so than it does to what you're watching. Think about how many times, try to catch yourself the next time.
Yeah.
A little homework assignment, everybody. Next time you're watching ESPN, maybe it's The Last Dance, maybe it's whatever. How often your eyes, my kids especially, because they've grown up with that, you know, that, I mean, it's been like that now for however many years for me too, but they've grown up. They watch the bottom line, I think, way more than they watch the top 90% of the screen.
And you know what's crazy, man? When you're watching TV shows, for instance, The Last Dance. This is your companion right here.
Oh, yeah.
People get on Twitter and live tweet during The Last Dance.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, there's no way.
It's a pastime of mine.
Yeah, but if I'm watching Westworld or if I'm watching The Last Dance, no, man, the phone gets put to the side and I'm not touching my phone. I'm focused on what's at hand. Now, the NFL draft's different, right? Because I had Luke Bryan serenading me, so I got bored. So I checked my cell phone there, and obviously I had comments during the draft because it kind of drags out and it was long. But if I'm watching Westworld, if I'm watching Game of Thrones, True Detective, pick your drama, the phone is on silent and the phone gets put to the side because I need 100% focus on the screen.
Well, Kuz, let's just be thankful that Austin is not one of our listeners or viewers because Right now, we're making a living on this show with people working on their computer from home. And
dude,
watching or listening to the show at the same time. That's called multitasking, and we love you.
I can train. I can do work. I can do whatever. I can go on the computer, and I can listen to the show. But what I will not do, and anybody listening out there, if you're watching Game of Thrones and listening to our show, I mean, you're kind of a psychopath, right? Because you have to kind of focus what's going on the screen. So, listen, I don't want to lose any of our listeners, but I'm just saying, if you're watching this in-depth drama show with us in the background, with my voice trying to serenade you, what's the matter with you?
What if they're pretending that the characters are you guys talking
Oh,
right now?
I mean,
great.
If we're talking Game of Thrones, you know I'm Count Drogo.
I'm sure I don't fit in.
You know I'm Count Drogo. Brent, you can be Ramsey Bolton and know that, hey, that's not a compliment.
I was going to say, neither of us are going to get that.
I can bring him up real quick for you.
The other thing,
Brent's the Ramsey Bolton.
I was live tweeting the 2003 ALCS Game 7 Yankees-Red Sox last night. I was really hoping Boone didn't hit the damn home run again.
So are you into that? Are you into watching the reruns of the old?
This one came on, and we were actually playing some marshmallow baseball, so it was on the background.
I
was like, here it comes.
I got you.
It still pissed me off when Wakefield gave up the home run.
With all due respect, that's you, okay? Because everybody else is like 6'7", Viking built and everything. You're Ramsey Bolton.
But that's not a compliment, not a good character?
It's actually, one could argue it's the worst compliment of the show. Yeah, he was not a good person, let's just say.
Well, that fits. Here's the deal. NCAA is starting to look more and more, just a real quick thought on this. What really you talked about for a long time, and many people have, and I know you're not alone. Throughout our efforts to enhance support for college athletes, the NCAA has relied upon considerable feedback from and the engagement of our members, including numerous student athletes from all three divisions. Allowing promotions and third-party endorsements is uncharted territory. So that's kind of was the original tweet. They go on to say in like 2021, I think it would be, that they would maybe allow this stuff to happen. We're getting closer. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing, right?
It has to happen because, listen, right now, we're in a unique set of circumstances where we don't know if college football is going to be around. And we know that universities need college football to thrive. Universities need college football to keep their heads above water, right? And right now, there's a bunch of, we'll see what happens here. There's a bunch of predictions. But one thing that can happen is they're going to close the campuses but still have college football. And guess what? If you're a college football player and you don't go to school, but you play football, well, then take the student athlete out of it. Guess what? You're just an athlete. And all of a sudden your scholarship, what is that really paying for? So those players have every single right to get paid now because they're starting to understand, listen, without us, without college football, or maybe some schools have college basketball that's really big. Without those athletics, schools are going to fall apart, man. So we're essential. People want to talk about essential employees. ESPN 690, Brent Martin, Wasselin, essential. Justin Kuzar, essential, because we talk about sports and people need that. Well,
I have a letter that says
you want to talk about essential. College athletics are really the only thing that's going to keep the universities afloat. That's essential to me. So pay those essential people and reimburse them for their time.
Got to get this in before we go to break. I don't know the Twitter handle. I still think we should do like some kind of segment with Twitter handles because I don't even know how this. It's got the medical field in it. Med1C, I guess, is what it is.
Okay.
They shared this. The NFL draft takes way too long. If I really wanted to watch 32 picks in 3 hours, I'd just watch Jameis Winston play. Very good.
I like that.
That was pretty good.
Boom, boom. Nicely done.
When we come back, we transition from what you were just talking about. NCAA, the kids are going to be able to make some money, it looks like, soon enough. Are the schools and football programs going to make some money in the fall? We don't know that. Where's this headed? The reopening of sports, and as it pertains to college football, could we see a spring league after all? It's called college football. Do we really get to that point? Tough situation, complex situation. We talk about it next on ESPN 690.
This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Whether you're in need of a new roof, just a repair, or an inspection to ensure that your roof is ready for any weather that may be on the way, call Big Fish Roofing for a fair, honest opinion on what your specific needs may be. Big Fish Roofing is state licensed and insured and locally owned by Jacksonville natives. At Big Fish Roofing, we never ask for deposits or any money before your project is fully complete. Find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing for all your residential or commercial roofing needs.
This is a CMG Build Jax Business Report. During these changing times, it's challenging for all. Business across North Florida, big and small, are adjusting to meet your needs and give you great deals to build back. Like George Moore Chevrolet, 0% APR for 84 months. See dealership for other incentives. Please support local stimulus. Email buildjax@cmg.com. That's buildjax@cmg.com. We're in this together, and together we will win. Our friends at Arlington Toyota are here for you, and they've taken some extra steps to make sure your Arlington experience is safe and convenient. First, and this is a big one, Arlington has now extended its exchange policy to 30 days. That's 30 days you have to love your purchase or exchange it. Now that's peace of mind. They're also going to give you no payments for 90 days. That's 90 days deferred payments on all new and certified pre-owned Toyotas. You can shop over 1,000 vehicles online, and in fact, you can complete your entire purchase 100% online, including choosing your car, trade-in, and even financing. Arlington will then deliver your completely sanitized vehicle to you at your home. All departments at Arlington are open: sales, service, parts, and collision, and they've adjusted their hours to work best for you. Check it out online at arlingtontoyota.com. And if you do come in, know this: Arlington is using hospital-grade sanitizing products and following all CDC guidelines to keep you and their team safe. Find out more at arlingtontoyota.com. And most of all, stay well and know that Arlington is here to help.
It's time for some straight talk. The big wireless carriers try to wow you with big deals, but the savings are very little. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get the exact same network as the big guys while saving up to 50%. Right now, you can get the unlimited plan with up to 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. No contract, no mystery fees, all with nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
That's a good problem to have, if you will. I think talking to Vance Joseph, our DC, we're going to have different packages, make sure we give him stuff he's comfortable with. Having an abbreviated offseason, maybe not even getting to see those guys until camp. We want to make sure wherever we put him, he can play fast, use his athleticism, and be in that attack mode that he played with at Clemson. And so we'll work through that, but he'll definitely be involved in multiple packages.
I'm telling you what, we could have had a great segment this week called Name That Person on the Quote.
Who are you telling?
I mean, this has been difficult.
Was that Saban?
Nope.
Okay, then I'm out.
See, I know because Kuz told me, but I had no idea. I'm like,
Kuz, can you play it one more time? Just like a little bit of it.
We want to make sure wherever we put him, he can play fast, use his athleticism, and be in that attack mode that he played with at Clemson. And so we'll work through that, but he'll definitely be involved in multiple packages.
At Clemson, so...
There's some hints in
there,
hints.
Too.
Yeah. So it's a Bengals coach? For T. Higgins? No?
Ah, interesting.
I don't know.
Wasn't the only Clemson player taken.
Oh, I'm aware of that. I don't know, man.
Hey,
Who is
Kuz,
it?
how quick can you get the next one on that list? If you think you can. So I won't reveal who it is just yet.
It's not someone from Jacksonville.
No, it's definitely not somebody from
They
Jacksonville.
didn't get any guy from Clemson. So how's this who are we talking about then?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. We're putting you on the spot.
I hope this was the one you wanted.
I think you'll know what one I want. That will hopefully give it away a little bit.
we had known it was a deep draft for tackles, obviously. Some really talented guys that we had rated high. But Simmons was a guy we had targeted early as just a unique talent in this day and age with the tight ends we deal with in our division. The Kittles of the world running down the seam every other play. We felt like it was a guy we couldn't pass up.
Just told you what.
Doing the character checks.
I know Sean McVay. I don't know, man. This is ridiculous.
Hey, you're the one that thought you could figure it out.
Pete Carroll? It's not Pete Carroll.
Coos.
That ain't Pete Carroll.
The one that I'm asking for has nothing to do with football.
It's Kingsbury.
Yes.
Oh, Isaiah Simmons.
Simmons.
That's why I didn't know if you wanted that one. I thought it was more hits.
Well, play it now anyway, because this one would give it away, I think. I haven't heard the sound, but I'm guessing.
Kingsbury got some bass in his voice, though, huh?
I had no idea that was
Kingsbury. We're a bit bored these days at home. They're excited about some live sports on TV, if you will, and it kind of took off a little bit.
Wow, we would never have guessed it. Okay.
That's why I didn't play it. I knew that one.
I just saw the title of that. It said something about on his house, and that was it. So
listen, I sang Kingsbury's praises yesterday with Jason Fitz. Okay, a guy that's got a house like that, you're a winner. A guy that can just throw money away at an outdoor fireplace in the middle of Phoenix, Arizona, in the middle of whatever.
I love how running a fireplace is like so expensive.
I've never had one, Brett. Tell me how expensive it is. Obviously, you got about 3 in the backyard, so why don't you tell me how much it costs then? With that being said, though,
the wood
$6 for firewood at Publix.
No, those are propane one. Where's Kingsbury getting wood in the middle of Phoenix, Arizona? That's propane all day.
Can you burn cactus?
Yeah. So what are we talking about here? It's propane. It's expensive. Get with the program. Anyways, I sang Cliff Kingsbury's praise yesterday. There's no way he has that deep of a voice. Okay, he's put on a facade. There's no way. There's no way Cliff Kingsbury has a deeper voice than I do. I'm not buying it. Shouldn't be selling it.
Yeah, that was Kingsbury, by the way. But it goes back to my original conversation of I can't believe all the people we've had on this week. Kuz's play that I had no idea who they are.
You could have gave me 100 guesses. Never got Kingsbury.
Yeah, I mean he did deduct some good things out of those 2 bites. You were able to get Clemson, and you were able to get NFC West.
You surprised they went with Isaiah Simmons over like a receiving target? Obviously, that guy that picked Ruggs or whatever in the first round from that Golick and Wingo mock draft should have been out of his mind. I give him
credit actually for going this direction. I thought they would have gone offensive line even before Ruggs or somebody else. I understood even kind of what Dallas did.
Yeah,
where you just keep going after guys and become like the Saints or become the Bucks or become the Chiefs. But I thought offensive line made the most sense for them, given their situation, and they could have had a really good offensive lineman. But I give them credit for that because I'm not saying you don't need a good offensive line, but I wonder how much you need the way your style of play you're playing and also with Murray's ability. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, you don't want your quarterback on the run, so don't take that the wrong way. But what they do need is some defense. They needed help on defense, and they got maybe the best athlete in the draft. I mean, they can make the case if they want. They got the best player in the draft. He might be the best player in the draft. Yep. So I give him credit for going away from the style of offense, the need of offensive line, and taking Simmons there. Although I would say I was a little bit surprised, but I do give him credit for going in that direction. And I'm really glad they did because Jacksonville would really be mad right now if Simmons was on the board and C.J. Henderson was the pick, and I think it would have been. I think the Jags would have passed on Simmons.
Be honest.
And we don't need more negativity in Jacksonville.
Be honest. Brent, you got a fireplace at your place? Yeah, you got a fireplace at your house?
Yeah, we put one in a couple years ago.
Outdoor?
Outdoor.
Propane or wood?
Wood.
You can't hide it. You can't hide it, man. Can't hide money, can you, Kuz? You can't hide it. You can't hide it.
Hey, go to Home Depot and get a fire pit.
You can't hide it, man. You can't hide it.
You can actually build a fire pit without...
We did that in
college. We actually use it quite a bit.
Well, we're not in Rhode Island, though. You realize that, right? We're in Jacksonville.
I know. I love sitting out there by the fire.
We built our own fireplace in college by just digging a hole in the backyard and putting wood in.
No, did you have a permit for that?
Was that?
Did you have a permit for that? A fire permit? It's part of being a grown-up? Of course you did.
Yeah. He's in college, man.
Oh, I mean, you're still a grown-up. I don't know. If you're in college, you're an adult. I got you.
Yeah, we were old enough to make a fireplace, but not old enough to know we needed that.
All right. Hey, here's what I'm asking right now on social media. Will they play college football in the fall? Answer.
You're asking me? I thought you were asking social media.
I'm asking you.
Will they play college football in the fall? I think we will see some resemblance of whether it's a full season, a half season, just a conference play. But yes, we will see college football in the fall. Brent, what say you?
I really think we will, too. I think I've been on board and I haven't wavered. This is just my genuine thought on the whole process is, and actually the timetable may even be moved up from where my thinking was. I go to July 4th in that week and kind of say, okay, we're going to be back to somewhat of normalcy. Now, will we stop again in the fall at some point? I don't know. I mean, the doctors have claimed that maybe we will. I would believe by then science will have progressed, hopefully, to the point where we, have at least control of the coronavirus. Again, that's the sunny side of things. So I understand you have to take all into account, and I'm not making the decision for the entire college football world, NFL, or anybody else. But I continue to believe May and June are not normal for our world, society, sports in general. I'd be surprised if there's any sign of normalcy before the 4th of July. I do sense that after that there will be. Now, that could even slide a bit, because people are not comfortable, or different states have different opinions on it, and some are a little later to make those kind of decisions because you need some uniform results to make some of these things happen. I would say even if could you see a small delay here or there? Maybe. But in my mind, I feel like we're playing football by, at the very latest, early October in terms of real games. Could I see? Listen, the NFL season schedule started September 10th, which that's usually a Thursday night. So that means you're talking about, 11, 12, 13th to 13th. So really, that if you push it back 2 weeks, you're talking early October. Could I see a 2-week slide with the NFL? Could I see more like a month slide with college football because of getting back to classes and campuses? And then what most college coaches are now saying, you need a good 6 to 8 weeks to be able to get people in, work them out, get them in shape, and then throw the pads on and all those things. So even with a 6-week timetable, well, now you might get in there in, mid-August? Yeah. And be able to start playing football games in early October, and everything slides. So I would say, yes, we're playing. I actually believe right now things are going to remain on schedule. But I would say I wouldn't bet the house on that, and I like to bet a lot of houses.
Is that what the fireplace included?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet just the fireplace that we see football in the fall.
Okay.
But I think it is a very sensible option to slide the season to some degree. That makes sense. Now, it doesn't mean we lose games, in my opinion, just yet. But I think a slide of 2 or 3 weeks, even 4 weeks, makes some sense and is doable in the NFL. Every other sport has had to adjust.
Yeah.
Football might have to adjust in that sense, and it's doable. If you had to move the Super Bowl back a couple weeks, take a bye week away, you have to lose some of the bowl games or whatever might take place in college football. Those things make sense to me.
And do you just get the feeling, too, because it is the NCAA, right? And that being said, they're going to find a way to make this work, Brent, okay? Because there's a lot of money on the line, number one. And number two, like I said, it's the NCAA. And while, baseball didn't get their season, everyone's like, oh, well, you guys can come back if you want. Sorry, softball. See you later. It's still a call. But sorry, guys. Have fun with that. And then even with volleyball, it's like, you got to start the season. But college football, but the Big Ten network, but the SEC network, but the ACC network, which all goes through college football. We're going to cancel college football? There's no way, man. The NCAA, one way or another, will make sure that there is college football this season. I'm not going to put a house on it, but I will put I'll put my car on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's college. Well, you put a house on it again. I can put a car on it.
I put my fireplace on it.
Well, you only have 2 houses, so don't look at me like, wow, I can't believe you did that.
I have many.
Yeah. You can't hide it. You can't hide it, can you? Yeah. I mean, I put my car on it. Not really, but I put my car on it. It's got 200,000 miles, so good luck with that. But I put my car on it to say that there's college football this season.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that you say NCAA. See, I feel a little bit different. I feel like, listen, the NCAA is, you're not wrong.
It's NCAA.
Yeah, but I feel like it's college football. I feel like it's commissioners. I feel like it's ADs. I feel like it's $7 or $8 million coaches who have a ton of power on college campuses in the Power Five. I think it's them that will force this even more so than the NCAA. Now, amongst the NCAA's issues is getting back to class for students. I mean, that is a part of it, no doubt. So that does bring in the NCAA. That brings in governing bodies. That actually brings in education and the student-athlete aspect, believe it or not. But the big business of this is without question. To your point, they will play the 2020 season. They might play it in early 2021, though. I mean, it is not far-fetched for this spring thought to happen. I mean, how wild would that be if the spring season happens instead?
It's not going to happen.
You don't think it would happen that way?
No, think about it. Because then the draft's coming up, man. So you're going to have guys risk injury for that season when they have a chance to go to the draft? Do you think Trevor Lawrence is going to do that? You think Trevor Lawrence is going to shoot up in the spring knowing he's going to be the first pick of the draft?
Well, it's a good call, and it's a lot like what we talked about yesterday. That supplemental draft could be something now. If a ruling like that were to take place, that supplemental draft would then be flooded with people, I believe, I think.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily wrong. Listen, we all have to make adjustments. Would the NFL hook up with the NCAA and make an adjustment to their calendar in terms of moving the draft back a month? Why couldn't you do that? If you're going to lose, listen, if you're not playing college football until the spring, again, I'm not saying this is the most likely. I'm just saying if it were to happen that way, well, there's a lot of other things that transpired. That means the NFL season probably did slide to some degree. If they're not playing the Super Bowl now until February 28th, well, you know what week the Combine usually is? February 28th.
Sure.
Well, that means the Combine slides. That means Pro Days slide. That means the draft might slide anyway until the summer. It could. What I've thought all along in this, whether it's the NBA getting back to the playoffs and when that happens, or potentially the NFL or college football, I don't think this is going to be a one-season ramification of the coronavirus. I think you're going to look into that crystal ball of 2021, and things are going to be impacted there too. And so if they were to play a deeper season into the early part of 21, whether it's a whole spring season or not in college football, I think some of those spring practices, some of those kind of things, then either get canceled or slide back. So you see what I'm saying? It actually impacts the 2021 calendar as well. That's what we're looking at here in general. If the NFL does have to slide back to mid-October, which is a theory out there that could happen, and I think is a decent theory that could happen, then they would have to slide their entire offseason calendar from free agency to combines to pro days to draft as well. So everything's going to slide. This is going to become, again, if we're not on schedule, if they have to do anything like this, this could become more of an 18 to 24-month thing. Not to say that you're out for that long. Sports is paused for that long. But the domino effect of what transpired for a couple of months, a few months, maybe up to 4, 5, 6 months, really will last a solid 24 months.
I see what you're saying there. And what you're getting at is if the NCAA decides or whoever decides that the season's going to start in the spring, well, then one would assume that everything else revolves around that. But I'm just saying, if you do have this season in the spring, okay, and you're asking guys to show up in the spring and then get drafted a couple months later, I'm telling you it's not going to happen because we have guys right now who forego their last college football games of their careers and bowl games just because, they don't want to get hurt, number one. Number two, they want to save their draft stock, okay? And people know what I'm talking about to play college football. The last game of your career, it's an important game, man. I can still go back to Tennessee Tech, my last game, and I can give you play-by-play of how it went down. It's an important moment for a football player. Some guys choose to forego that in search of the NFL draft. So what's to say that guys like Trevor Lawrence, these big name players, these players that people, show up to watch, are just going to say, you know what? Why would I play? If I'm already going to go in the first round or, maybe the second round, whatever it is, why would I risk injury if we're getting drafted a couple months later? I can't see that happening, especially with the landscape now of how college football is.
Well, to your point, I think you're right on that if I was advising a Trevor Lawrence, I'd say don't play.
Yep.
I'd say don't play. But let's be honest. How many guys really fit in that mold? Chase Young would have fit in that mold this year.
How many guys
Tua would have fit in that mold this year?
How many guys sit out a game, bowl games, Brent?
Very few, really.
Really?
In the grand scheme of things?
I remember when Michigan played Florida a couple years ago, Michigan sat like 6 or 7 guys. And those guys went 5th, 6th. Some guys didn't even get drafted, some of those guys.
I get it. You're talking about I'm not saying there wouldn't be more of them.
Yeah.
But there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands, really, of football players in college football, and you're talking about 20 guys maybe.
I'm talking about the guys that are difference makers on their teams.
Well, listen, Trevor Lawrence would really impact, obviously, the Clemson Tigers if he were to do it alone. I wonder how many guys think their draft stock goes down by playing. Injury is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys' draft stock actually goes down? How many people lost draft stock in 2019? Listen, you might not be wrong. I mean, look at the Jags' second-round pick. Laviska Shenault, in their opinion, was the best receiver going into the 2019 season. He slipped to the second round due to some injuries and underperforming. And so you bring up a decent point. Tua would not have had the hip injury if he would have sat out. So you're probably not wrong with definitely an increase, and that could make that supplemental draft very interesting. But it just depends on how they do it. If they start it in November, I think you're less likely to see it.
Yeah.
If they started it in January, you may be more likely to see it because guys have already, even online, could have graduated,
Sure.
And they're like, I'm out. See ya. I'm done. I'm not doing this. It's a complex issue. It's fascinating. I think we have some thoughts here. Eduardo says if not, they have to play it in the spring because there are more problems with no college football than with a pushed-back college football. And as we're presenting to you, there's a lot of problems with a push-back football as well, which also doesn't impact just football. It impacts maybe the NFL. Trent says campuses are starting to announce they plan to be open for class in the fall. If no students, no way they can play a sport in the fall. We should see some sort of season. If football cancels, schools will lose other programs. Now, that's another trickle-down, right? We've already seen it. What was it, Cincinnati, who announced men's soccer was being canceled? Well, that gave them reason to do it. There will be more sports like that say, see you later. Non-revenue sports, see you later. Yeah. We're out on that. And Trent is right. I think I saw several schools say, hey, we plan to be open in the fall. Plan to have – there's like Stanford's AD in this article says, hey, we plan to have people on campus in the fall. But we won't announce it until June or whatever else. So, yes. Plan is the word, though. That's different than we will. And will people be afraid to pull the trigger? And again, I think what's important to remind folks here is to a degree, you need uniformity across the country, across states, across conferences, across schools. Who's going to be the black sheep, maybe? The outlier that says, we ain't doing it. And do then conferences like the SEC say, hey, if all 14 aren't in, we ain't here for it. We got to make sure all 14 are in. So,
yeah, I hear you.
How loyal will they be to that and respectful to that? A lot of things get brought up. Again, I think to go back and circle around, we are talking about the reopening of sports now. It's not even May. I mean, we're talking about it. I think we're at least a little bit ahead of schedule in my own mind of where I thought that would be. Now, that's Georgia this week, state of Florida coming up, other states around the country. But you have to be sensitive to the folks in the places that have been way harder hit than even where we are. New York takes the cake. New York is the epicenter. Where will they fit in terms of opening back up, the comfortability to do so? And I think it's worth noting, we've brought this up before, we're talking about a couple states that are getting ready to open back up that usually would fit in the conservative kind of Republican side of the bracket. A place like New York, where it's been the epicenter, does not. Yeah. It's a highly Democratic state. Do politics get involved in some of this? California, the same way, where so many schools exist. I still think there's an element of that, whether we want to admit it or not, that could get in the way of it. But I think we're actually pacing ahead of where I thought we'd be here as we start to enter May. And again, I think we're going to play on time. I think that spring stuff is a theory, but I don't think it will be a reality. I don't think it will be needed to be a reality. I think I've got faith in the scientists and that we're back to that we find something to be able to get back to normalcy by really what I would consider the middle of summer.
Yeah, and listen, I'm just very adamant in saying if there is no college football, then the universities take a hit. Now, could there be some kind of bailout? Well, because you see all these companies getting bailouts. I don't know if the government would compile something together with that. I'm not political, so I don't really know how that works. But I agree with you, man. I think that in the grand scheme of things, like, yeah, we live in Jacksonville, and, you know, we're in the Southeast, and we kind of have a feeling of how it's going. Obviously, in New York, it's a completely different picture, right? So the entire country, for lack of a better word, has to be on the same page before you opening up these schools, number one, and opening up college football, because you can't have, you know, the Southeast Conference playing games and all of a sudden you go to the ACC up north like Syracuse and, you know, they're still struggling. So I think everyone's got to be on the same page, obviously. We still are a ways away, so there is a positive in that. There's a silver lining, but I'm with you on that, where if you open this thing back up and if you do college football, then you have to have both feet in the foxhole, okay? I don't want one foot on one side, one foot on the other side. It's like, well, we'll see what happens and we'll cut. No, I mean, you have to be completely committed and you have to accept the actions that stem from it, okay? And you have to accept the consequences if they should pop up. So I think the NCAA, I think the, you know, the ADs or the whoever is in charge of these decisions, they have to understand that, number one, you have to be on the same page, and number two, accept the consequences if they happen.
Yeah, one last part of this, by the way. I do believe this can happen. Professional sports is more likely to get by and happen with limited fans or no fans. Even though I've kind of been of the thought process the whole time, we're either all in or we're not. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where my thinking has been, although there's less and less evidence of that. There's more and more talk like the NBA, the Major League Baseball. They could do this without fans to begin. College sports, no. College football, it's been pretty clear, at least if you read up on it, that college sports, the fans attending college sports, a vital part of it. I mean, one of the big motivations for college football to be played is the dollars.
No, I hear
and
you.
The dollars, when it comes to tickets and people in the stands, is an important part of that. So that's the caveat here.
I hear you, but it's also an important part from terms of like the networks, right? Because,
absolutely.
I mean, listen, they make a pretty, I'm sure I don't know the numbers, but they make a pretty good amount of bank from the SEC network.
No doubt.
From the SEC network, right? Like the NFL, I don't see the AFC South network, okay? I don't see the AFC North network. So with that being said, yes, obviously college football, it's about the tailgating. It's about the experience. It's about those fans and everything. You know, what a better way to spend a Saturday. I get what you're saying there. But I think that if there isn't fans, they're going to find a way to survive, because once again, those fans that grew up with tradition, grew up cheering for their teams, well, now they're going to go on to the networks and they're going to watch the game there. So I think even though the stands could be empty, I still think college football could flourish from it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. No doubt there's more TV money involved in the professional sports, even though you're right about SEC Network and other things, than there are college in terms of the dollars. There's just more money. So you give yourself a little bit more leeway in terms of fan support and fan attendance in that regard. Reminder, too, while we're on this topic, schedule comes out next week. We look like next Thursday in the NFL. And we talked a lot about it yesterday. How will that affect the international series? What's going to happen with the NFL? Will they have contingency plans? A PR guy for the NFL on social media said today, we are planning on schedule coming out next week. Camps opening up when they're supposed to open up. And September 10th being the season opener in the NFL. So that is the plan as of now in the NFL. When we come back, a thought or two on Telvin Smith. And this ran through my mind today. Tom Coughlin's gone. Mm-hmm. Could Colin Kaepernick to Jacksonville be on the table at all again in the future? Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Warm today under partly sunny skies, the afternoon high in the mid-80s, dropping into the mid-60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
It's times like these that remind us all of how precious life is and how our love and relationships are what really matter. At Diamonds Direct, we believe this. Your love and well-being are truly our passion. That's why we've decided to temporarily close our showrooms, a decision rooted in caution and compassion. But rest assured, we are still here for you. Diamonds Direct's experts are behind the scenes helping customers 24/7, giving you access via text, live chat, email, or our special customer hotline that you can call anytime. Remote shopping options and expert guidance are always available, and our commitment to serve you is stronger than ever. Please visit diamondsdirect.com for more information or to start a remote shopping appointment. At Diamonds Direct, we're honored to be the symbol of your commitment to each other. And while we wait during this uncertain time, we encourage you to be safe, cautious, and courageous as we look forward to better days ahead. It's still your love, our passion, and nothing can change that. Not now, not ever.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work?
Where should I take my car for engine work?
Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Sometimes a family needs a little help to deal with life stresses. You can contribute to happy, healthy childhoods with a few simple steps. Notice families under stress. Offer a helping hand. Give your time. Talk about healthy child development. Connect a family with resources. Contributing to a great childhood can be as easy as being a good neighbor. For more, preventchildabusefl.org. This message is sponsored by the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Action Transmission, Serafina's Pizza, Charles Bassett Land Surveyors, Courtney Bonetta Watson Realty, Conley's Shore Grill, Mercury Carpet. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
These can be unsettling times, but CGC Water Treatment wants you to know that they are there for you and your family. CGC Water Treatment has 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier Softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the stores are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
One-to-One Financial is Jacksonville's hometown credit union, and we've been helping people improve their lives and start businesses in this community for more than 85 years, longer than any other local institution. Like our name says, we work one-to-one with everyone, no matter their background, and we offer the best rates on loans and savings accounts, free debt counseling, plus no-cost financial planning. Learn more and join us at one-to-one-fcu.org, federally insured by NCUA.
It's times like these that remind us all of how precious life is and how our love and relationships are what really matter. At Diamonds Direct, we believe this. Your love and well-being are truly our passion. That's why we've decided to temporarily close our showrooms, a decision rooted in caution and compassion. But rest assured, we are still here for you. Diamonds Direct's experts are behind the scenes helping customers 24/7, giving you access via text, live chat, email, or our special customer hotline that you can call anytime. Remote shopping options and expert guidance are always available, and our commitment to serve you is stronger than ever. Please visit diamondsdirect.com for more information or to start a remote shopping appointment. At Diamonds Direct, we're honored to be the symbol of your commitment to each other. And while we wait during this uncertain time, we encourage you to be safe, cautious, and courageous as we look forward to better days ahead. It's still your love, our passion, and nothing can change that. Not now, not ever.
Are you now worried about how to continue providing the same level of service to your customers? Many service-oriented businesses are struggling to create new ways to maintain their customers. What happens to those that haven't been able to adapt? At SCORE, we can help by offering advice and resources through a vast library of online information and timely webinars. Since 1964, SCORE has assisted more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. Go to our website, jacksonville.score.org, to see how we can help you today.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small. But businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. J&L Diesel and Auto Repair, Trip and Wet Automotive, Keg and Coin, Richard O'Connell Allstate Insurance, Crosswinds Veterinarian Hospital, Jeffrey Miller Construction. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Get out there. Yep, that's what we said. Get out there with your resume. It's true, you've heard the news about historic unemployment numbers, but there's positive news out there too. Companies are still hiring. You just have to know where to look. And where you should look is CareerBuilder. CareerBuilder has over 300,000 open jobs listed right now, and most of the positions do not require a college degree or prior experience in the job title.
Today in Jacksonville, CareerBuilder has over 5,000 new job listings. Positions like retail supervisors, customer service representatives, retail salespeople, and registered nurses.
Visit CareerBuilder.com to create a resume for free. Upload a resume, search jobs near you, and let our technology connect you to employers. Now, more than ever, we're working to support the mainstream American workforce and to help you find a job fast. Visit CareerBuilder.com. CareerBuilder, we're building for you.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Bob Myers and I got on a Zoom with our players, our whole roster last week. Just a chance to check in, but it was also a chance for Bob to update the players on his contact with the league and the latest news. But it also kind of felt like our annual team exit meeting. Yeah. And our coaching staff and I have been undergoing staff evaluations, off-season plans. So we are absolutely in off-season mode.
Brent, who is it?
Steve Kerr.
All right.
I got that one.
I actually knew that one, too, because I remember reading that article about how he kind of thinks the season's done. Because, well, of course, you play for the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a smart way to go about it, right? I mean,
yeah.
it was interesting context. Mm-hmm. You're not making the playoffs. You know you're not making the playoffs. We don't care if we come back and play.
Yeah.
Right. Quite frankly. I mean, the owner might lose 8 dates or something at home, but I'm not sure how many people are going anyway.
Sure.
They already paid for their season tickets.
Yeah.
So it's probably better to get on with the future anyway. I mean, this was a rest year for the, for the Warriors
do you
anyway.
think if there is still a regular season NBA, I mean, do you picture like Steph Curry coming back to play? Like, do you think Klay Thompson's going to come back from his injury and play? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're just going to rest him and call it a day.
That would be fruitless, right?
Exactly.
Well, Curry was back.
Curry was back, yeah, but still, I mean, do you let Curry keep on playing?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I would definitely not do so with Klay Thompson.
No, he's got nothing to prove. It's an interesting question.
Yeah,
well, the one I would bring up is like specifically Kevin Durant. You know, if he is good to go, the Nets are in the playoffs.
But was he scheduled to come back this year, though? I thought
no,
he was at the,
no, he wasn't. But if it's pushed back this much, you could make an actual run at it potentially.
It's a great call. I haven't seen anything on that.
Because he said he's not playing. Like he said he's not playing, but like that, I mean, was a thing people were thinking about.
But I mean, if they didn't play until July, he still said he wouldn't play?
He'd in theory be good to go, but he said he's not going to until the next season.
Smart.
I haven't looked into that. I wonder if there's something contractually about that or because they've already put him on a list or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating. Real quick, just to finish up what we're talking about, the reopening of sports. Mm-hmm. Run down the list. You say yes or no in terms of playing in the – where are we at? May, June, July. Let's say normal by August.
Okay.
By August.
Yeah.
Because that would fit football.
Okay.
Okay. So do you think college football
normal by August?
Yeah.
Yes.
NFL.
Not normal, but there'll be some like training camp changes, but that's about it.
Maybe back a little bit.
Yeah, back a little bit.
But they're starting to get back in.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think if college football, you probably feel like it would be similar with the NFL.
Yeah, for the most part.
You actually got less of a chance of college football because of the student aspect of it.
Yeah. Once again, it's NCAA.
NBA playoffs.
By August? Or
I mean, are they happening or are they just done?
I think they're done.
You do?
Yeah.
Golf.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're expected to be back in mid.
But of course.
Just to appease you.
But of course.
MMA.
Oh, it's happening next week in Jacksonville, so thanks for asking. In Jacksonville, Florida, nonetheless.
I just feel like we have to say MMA after golf.
And you know what? And that feels right because you should.
That's right.
Thank you for doing that.
Since you poo-poo golf, even though they might be the first one back to sport.
Oh, they're so brave, Brent. So brave to bring back golf. Wow. The Rosa Parks of professional sports. What pride they have to come back and lead the next generation of professional stuff getting started back up. Brent, it's golf, okay? I'm not impressed by you guys. You people. I'm not impressed.
A lot going on in that class statement,
and
I'm not touching it. Major League Baseball.
Hey, Rosa Parks, didn't I? I put you to sleep, okay?
Major League Baseball.
It'll be, obviously, not what we're accustomed to seeing, I think, but yes, baseball will be back.
All right. I didn't say hockey, but is hockey going?
Listen,
hockey would fit in the NBA umbrella, don't you think? But they have a lot more international players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think hockey's going to happen, but, man, unless Drake drops another album, the whole country of Canada needs something, man, because they're struggling, Brent. Think about it. I mean, like, for us, it's football, right? Where people are going to spaz out if we don't have football this year, right? People are going to be rioting in the streets if there's no football. What will the fantasy football owners do? Imagine what's happening in Canada right now, man. Canada's life up there. I mean, hockey's life up there in Canada.
No playoff hockey.
No playoff hockey, man. Oh, and there are some Canadian teams, too, that are actually doing pretty well that we're going to make a playoff run. Man, can't imagine. Drake, drop those albums. Drake's from Canada.
I got it.
Okay. Well,
I know that part.
Yeah, I see.
He goes to Raptors games.
I see. Yeah, he does. Don't remind me. That Bucks playoff division. Oof, yeah.
So I want to reiterate what I said at the start of the show. We're getting a lot of Telvin Smith questions. And this was really bizarre for me today. Okay. Periodically, we check up on the Telvin Smith situation. Mm-hmm. The last we knew about it was last fall. There was police activity outside his home. JSO and everybody else very quiet on it. Every time we would ask from a news organizational standpoint, whether it's 104.5 WOKV, CBS 47, Fox 30, we're asking as well on the sports side, what's going on with Telvin Smith? We know he basically retired and got away from football. But personally, what's going on? Why was there police presence that day outside his home? And he had not been taken into custody or at least charged with anything, any of those types of things. Well, every time it's still an ongoing investigation. Well, this pandemic hits, and I was just thinking, because the Jaguars issued new numbers, and one of the draft picks, and now I can't even remember who. Did you see who took number 50?
I didn't.
Oh, it was Quarterman.
Okay.
Shaq Quarterman.
Sure.
Got number 50.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive about that. And I was like, wow, that's Telvin's number.
It was Telvin's number.
I know. But
yeah.
that, if you had hope of Telvin coming back, if you wondered about his situation, well, he's not coming back. The Jags have no plans for him to come back. The Jags have moved on from Telvin Smith. It's not like, hey, come back in. That's a sure sign of it. They gave his number away.
Yeah.
There's other numbers you could give.
No, I mean, it's very telling. And listen, I think the writing was on the wall last year, okay? Like when he said that he was taking some time off, and the whole thing happens where the FBI comes to his house. Like, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on in Telvin Smith. And one would think that his mind right now is not coming back to the Jacksonville Jaguars and playing football again. So if you're the organization, yeah, absolutely, give his number away. I mean, it is what it is.
So I saw that last night, and I was like, I wonder if we've heard anything now. Everybody's talking about coronavirus and the pandemic, and rightfully so. So I asked our news folks this morning. I emailed our desk, and I said, hey, anything new on the Telvin front? Mm-hmm. And they said, no, I'll check on it with JSO today, but we haven't heard anything as of late. 2 hours later, I got a phone call that the SWAT team was outside Telvin Smith's house.
Brent's a snitch.
I'm just telling you that's how it went down.
Hey, I'm going to get a little farther away from you because I'm not going to be associated with this, okay? This was you. I didn't ask what Telvin Smith's doing. I didn't ask what happened with the Telvin Smith thing. I've just been sitting here, want to talk about the Jaguars draft picks, and that's it. This is on you, Brent Martineau.
I didn't think of it that way, but it's starting to kind of unravel that way.
Hey, and you know what happens to snitches? You get stitches. Or you know what happens? You end up in ditches. I'm not going to be associated with that, Brent.
So anyway, there's police presence at Telvin Smith's residence again, and I talked to somebody who said, yes, there was, and I really don't have a lot more information. Now, there are more things floating around social media. Does this stem, I would assume, from that initial visit, and maybe the investigation is now taken a turn? And could that include somebody told me this, and again, I'm not really that familiar with how this works, but they said if somebody has been asked to turn themselves in and does not, sometimes they will send SWAT team and police presence out to that person just in case, as a precaution. And so that could have gone on here. I don't know if that's the case here, but that could have gone on here. So that's what somebody did tell me today, that sometimes happens. So does that mean, if you run with that theory, was Telvin Smith supposed to turn himself in on whatever charge could be pending? We don't know the story, but it looks like Telvin Smith could be in the news again, and I know our news folks are working on it, and we're working on it. And I will tell you this, unless they know and don't want to say so, every time I mention this to people in the Jags building, like that last time, they did not know that police presence was at his home. This time around, I said it again. I said, hey, we're getting a tip that people might be there.
Do you buy that, though, Brent? I mean, listen, if the FBI shows up to your house and puts you in handcuffs, that's a big deal.
No, well, I'm not saying they didn't know it by then. I'm just saying by the time I've contacted them, they didn't know at the time. So they're like, oh, really? Now, could they know? There's a lot of stuff Jags internally know. But now in this current climate, not everybody's in the building talking to one another. And I also think this time around, I think they've washed their hands of Telvin Smith in terms of the football player. So they don't really have that keen of an interest in, well, what's going on? Is he okay? What's he doing today? Now, a guy on your roster, you're going to want to know that stuff. Usually you get the phone call down to the building. Security and others they know right away. I don't think there's any reason for them to be up to date on the Telvin Smith situation. That's what makes this kind of unique from our angle. Like, he's not really a part of the Jags anymore. Like, the Jags, I don't believe, have that much inside information on what's going on with Telvin Smith, at least from kind of the back and forth I've had with them over the last few months when it comes to Telvin Smith. It's almost like they're asking as many questions as I'm asking them. Yeah. You know? So we're all kind of wondering what's going on with Telvin Smith. And the latest part of that saga could be transpiring even as we speak. So I will tell you, check out CBS 47 and Fox 30 starting at 5 o'clock and see if there's any updates. I'm actually doing the same. I'm trying to get to see if there's more updates, but we've obviously been doing the show the last couple of hours. I just feel like this is heading toward a sad, sad story for Telvin Smith. And I did say to somebody today, I just can't believe money's not everything. But the man left $10 million on the table last year to get away from football, to walk away from football. You keep bringing up money
like it's a big thing, Brent, to some people.
I get it, man, but it's...
Listen.
It just... Well, no, it's not always a big thing in that sense, okay? Yeah. He's made plenty of money, actually, in the NFL, if hopefully he did the right things with it, to be okay. But I'll say it like this. In the Justin Blackmon kind of context, Justin Blackmon left, I think it was right around that same amount of money, $10 million on the table. It shows you the length of whatever's going on. Because normal people that are functioning in a normal way, that like what we would think about, and they don't leave that kind of money on the table.
Let's put it like this. If you got paid $13 million to stop partying, would you stop partying? Probably, right? It's $13 million.
Yeah.
Well, Justin Blackmon didn't do that.
He didn't do it.
And I see what you're saying. You know, and if anything, this kind of shows just, you know, what he's going through and how serious this is to leave that much money on the table. I just come from the field, though, man, of whether it's Yannick Ngakoue, will he play this year at franchise tag, whether it's Telvin Smith last year walking away from money. Yeah, I get it. 99% of society would be crazy to give up that much money. I mean, people would, change their whole life around for $100,000, let alone $13-something million. But I'm just saying, not everyone grows up the same, okay? And I'm not sure how Yannick Ngakoue grew up. I'm not sure how Telvin Smith grew up. But I guarantee it's probably a lot different than I grew up, a lot different than you grew up. So it's hard for me to sit here and judge, well, I can't believe you walked away from this much money. Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't have done it, but guess what? I didn't grow up like Telvin Smith. I don't have the same values. I didn't have the same things instilled in me as a child as Telvin Smith did, as Yannick Ngakoue did. So I'm never going to fault anybody for walking away from money or for going after money. I want to see guys get paid. I want to see guys be successful off the field. I want to see guys have lives for themselves farther past the lines of football. But if they don't agree with it and if they don't want to get paid, then that's on them, and I'm okay with that.
That's, in your words, hunky-dory. It's just that if you add up everything going on in this situation, okay, because we knew Telvin to a degree. I say, I don't know what's going on with Telvin. I am not comfortable telling you what I know about Telvin Smith in terms of this situation over the last 15 months because, to me, there's just not enough. I'm not going to do that. You can read all the stuff on social media, believe what you want to read. I'm just not comfortable doing it until I get more confirmation on exactly what went down. He has been very quiet. This is what else makes the situation unusual. He has been so quiet. Now, he took to social media on occasion and would say something here or there. But I also believe the start of this last spring, when he said, I'm not playing football, had multiple facets to it. It wasn't like this one reason why. And so I've heard a bunch of different things. I do think it was a compilation of things. It was a series of events, feelings, all those things. And now I don't know. We've heard the rumors about this latest situation.
Yeah.
But we don't really know exactly what they're investigating or were investigating and why today they're back at his place once again. And until we find that out, I'm not comfortable just speculating about it. But what I am curious about, and this is why I bring up the money, man, is this is a guy, when we saw him, I'll go back, let's see, a year. Let's just say early stages of 2018 of that football season. The guy loved to play football. Absolutely loved the game of football. To get from that stage, somewhere maybe 18 months ago, to this stage where you're probably never playing football again. Yeah. And now you've got stuff going on with police presence at your house twice in a 6-month period to give up the ability to earn $10 million playing a game that we all thought you loved. That to me is a dynamic that can't escape me. Like, that's like, man, what the heck is going on to get from point A to now point B some 18 months later in Telvin Smith's life. And we just don't have any answers since he's been so quiet on that front.
Listen, I don't have the answers at all. What I think happened, because listen, I talked to Telvin Smith at Puzz's retirement ceremony. My first time really ever dealing with Telvin Smith and talking to him. And his personality, his passion for the game of football was contagious. I want to put my papers back in and say, I don't want to be retired anymore. I want to play for Telvin Smith, man, because the guy loves the game of football. And I left that retirement ceremony thinking, man, the Jaguars got a good one in Telvin Smith going forward. He's going to be there for a while because that guy loves the game of football. Now, whatever happened between the time I was at Puzz's retirement ceremony and the time that Telvin Smith chose to walk away from football, I'm not sure what happened there, okay? One would think, at least I think, that for whatever reason, whether it was a Tom Coughlin thing, a front office thing, a locker room thing, whatever it was, the game stopped being fun for him. Okay? The game stopped being fun for him, and when it stops being fun, it's a rude awakening because all of a sudden money's not important anymore. It's the game that you played since you were 5, 6 years old. All of a sudden, it's like, well, this is a business now, and there's a bunch of BS I don't want to deal with. I don't want to be here anymore. Let's assume that happened. Okay, so you walked away from the game because it wasn't fun anymore because of the culture that was ingrained. Well, now you have time on your hands, right? And when you have time on your hands, sometimes you can do things that you probably shouldn't be doing. And maybe that's what happened with Telvin Smith. Once again, I don't know, just speculating. But what I think happened is Telvin Smith walked away from the game of football because it wasn't fun anymore. He had a lot of time on his hands. He got in trouble, and it started to be a downward spiral from there.
It is a mystery, though, of the last 18 months, as you just said. It is a wild mystery of what's happened with Telvin Smith, I mean, quite frankly. So here we go. I can give you a few more details, just doing some homework on it. 4:54 on a Wednesday. And this is what we know. Neighbors in Queens Harbor, where he has a residence, say police took him in. He's not booked in jail yet, which sometimes takes a little bit, but the police did take him. not FBI or DEA related, and most likely JSO is what that means.
But just but there's a SWAT team there, though, right? I mean, let's say that too, right?
There was SWAT team presence earlier is what tipped us off on the story to begin with this afternoon.
Okay.
And again, I'm baffled by this happening today because of, I just told you earlier in this segment, is we were asking about Telvin this morning. And then all of a sudden, hours later, he has SWAT team and police presence outside his house. And again, the latest details that we can share with you, police say Telvin Smith has been taken into custody by the police. He has not been booked in jail yet, at least not on any logs. So we'll see what happens. That's usually when you get a little bit more detail about why that hasn't happened. Not FBI or DEA that took him in, which appears to be JSO. So we will hopefully bring you more information as we get it. And again, I invite you to follow along on CBS 47 and Fox 30 for more on that. I was going to get to a thought I had, a very random thought about Colin Kaepernick. I might do so here. I'm going to do so before the end of the show. Just we got to run to a break. And right after the break, I do want to play for you my chat today with Colin Johnson. So let's brighten things up a little bit and talk about the future of 6'6" wide receiver from Texas. This guy's a cool guy out in California.
Great story, man.
And
he's doing big things.
He could be a fun part of the offense.
Yep.
What Jay Gruden does with Colin Johnson could be interesting. My conversation coming up on the other side of this. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We'll continue to keep you updated on the Telvin Smith situation. I do have a thought, a random one at that, also on Colin Kaepernick before the show ends. So hang with us on ESPN 690.
First Take, Your Take with Jason Fitz.
I think what we have to remember here is that we all define MVP differently. What does MVP mean? Most valuable is a very gray area. Putting best player in as MVP, and I don't know that they're the same thing because ultimately right now, arguably the best player in the NBA is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
First Take, Your Take with Jason Fitz from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
When your car needs service, you want a safe place to go. That place is Arlington Toyota. Here's how Arlington has enhanced safety in their service department to keep you and their team of technicians safe. You can drop off your vehicle and Arlington will give you a solo ride home, so you don't have to wait on site. Arlington will even pick up your vehicle from you and return it free through April 30th. And speaking of sanitized, Arlington is cleaning the steering wheel, center consoles, and gear shift with sanitizing wipes as an added precaution. And if you come in, Arlington has enhanced its cleaning measures using hospital-grade sanitizing products and cleaning high-touch surfaces every hour. They've also increased the space between seats in their lounges and cashier lines to maintain the safe 6-foot distance recommended by the CDC. Oh, and if you need parts, you can order them and pay for them online, and Arlington will deliver them for free until April 30th as well. The service, parts, and collision departments at Arlington Toyota are open, and they've adjusted their hours to best serve you. Get the latest updates or schedule your appointment at arlingtontoyota.com today. And most of all, stay well and know that Arlington is here for you.
It's times like these that remind us all of how precious life is and how our love and relationships are what really matter. At Diamonds Direct, we believe this. Your love and well-being are truly our passion. That's why we've decided to temporarily close our showrooms, a decision rooted in caution and compassion. But rest assured, we are still here for you. Diamonds Direct's experts are behind the scenes helping customers 24/7, giving you access via text, live chat, email, or our special customer hotline that you can call anytime. Remote shopping options and expert guidance are always available, and our commitment to serve you is stronger than ever. Please visit diamondsdirect.com for more information or to start a remote shopping appointment. At Diamonds Direct, we're honored to be the symbol of your commitment to each other. And while we wait during this uncertain time, we encourage you to be safe, cautious, and courageous as we look forward to better days ahead. It's still your love, our passion, and nothing can change that. Not now, not ever.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Adams Towing, Amelia Exterior Maintenance, Mo Jacks, Ken Wellman Construction, Nolan Company, Small Haul Dumpster. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ 1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
It's time for some straight talk. The big wireless carriers try to wow you with big deals, but the savings are very little. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get the exact same network as the big guys while saving up to 50%. Right now, you can get the unlimited plan with up to 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. No contract, no mystery fees, all with nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
At AutoZone, we're here to help you get what you need, and that won't change. In need of an oil change? Right now you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil, an STP Extended Life Oil Filter, and a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail or email, all for just $33.99. And if you need something fast, you can get it fast. Your way, whether it's next day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. The choice is yours. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details on AutoZone.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Obviously, every year is a new year, and what you did last year doesn't really matter this year, but being able to bring back the number of guys that we have coming back, so many guys returning back on offense, guys that know the offense, that have been in it for multiple years and can just kind of build on what we did last year. So yeah, I think it definitely helps us back, especially in this type of situation when we're not able to get in the building and spend a lot of time around each other and the coaching staff. But guys that are already kind of familiar with it, now we're just able to go a little bit more in depth, in detail on a lot of things that we did last year and make small adjustments that can only make us better.
Ryan Tannehill sound really? You're trolling me all week, man. Doug Peterson, now the Titans.
Shots fired, Brent.
I feel kind of cool when I say the word trolling. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm down with the lingo.
Easy now. Let's not.
What did I miss the other day? Netflix and chill.
Yeah. Get younger, Brent. Come on. All the kids are using that
I can't
one.
wait for Austin's reaction if you start using the word woke.
Yeah, that's not a Brent Martineau term. No.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Listen, I've been next to this guy now for a year and a half. If Brent Martineau says woke, it's out of character. It's not him. And I'll be disappointed because it's not you.
I told you recently, my daughter heard somebody say lit on TV.
It's lit.
And she's like,
it's lit.
Nobody says that anymore.
Oh, for real? Oh, I said it last night. No, I'm kidding. No one's saying lit. Are people still saying 100? 100?
I don't think so. Not nearly as much.
What are the kids saying then? Because you're on.
Bet.
Is Bet still the only person I ever hear say bet?
Is Marcel Robinson.
Marcel Robinson.
Yeah.
Only person.
Yeah.
That dude is so outdated.
Yeah. I don't hear bet at all.
I hear bet all the time.
Do you? And we I guess I haven't been to the gym in a while, but we have like a bunch of younger kids in our MMA gym too, and they're up on the stuff. I don't hear them say bet though.
I feel like for a little bit there, a lot of Jags players in the locker room, I'd overhear them saying bet.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's a younger age group.
Was it better when we're actually placing bets though in the locker room?
It wasn't during a Domino's game.
Okay,
though.
But that could be part of what that means. I mean, there's two ways to take bet when you say that.
Trust me, I saw it firsthand in the locker room. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say Marcel Robinson's the only person I hear say that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I might just not be around cool enough people. I mean, that is.
You don't hear that walking around the neighborhood? No one's.
You don't hear
neighbors walking
out
the
by the
dog.
fireplace every night. If some people in the backyard saying bet. No.
What's up, bet?
What's up, bet? Yeah.
Oh, it'd be more like, hey, do you guys want to do a fire tonight? And someone's like, bet, and then you go make a fire.
Like the last time I remember somebody outside of Marcel Robinson saying bet to me.
What's that?
Was when we had Malik Jackson on at the Senior Bowl.
Okay.
When he called in. I remember him saying in that conversation, bet a couple of times.
I got you.
But very few people have said it. So what else is the cool thing? I mean, is that all you got? I mean, you guys have a whole pandemic to figure this stuff out, young people. That's all you got?
Cruz. This is your wheelhouse.
I'm the least cool.
No, that is true.
Brent, you have Instagram. You should see the comments. That's not an excuse for you either.
I do have Instagram. I just don't
go
use
in
it
the
very
comments.
often.
Like, see what the kids are saying, man. Let's tailor our show to the next generation. Let's go.
I have slipped on Instagram. I mean, I was doing a good job of posting quite a bit and staying in tune with that. And now I've dropped that. I mean,
it's over, huh?
I don't know if it's over, but
You're switching to TikTok.
Do you have TikTok? Be honest.
No.
Are you gonna get TikTok?
No.
I mean, just
We should have.
we should have. We nothing. Go ahead.
No, but we should have put we should have put his Akuda guitar playing on TikTok.
Oh, you should put the Yannick Ngakoue Happy Gilmore thing too on
I was
TikTok.
gonna do
that. Would be a good TikTok.
I would love to make a TikTok for us. The problem is with our company. If I make a TikTok, then they're going to be like, all right, we need you to post 3 times a day. And then it's a whole thing, and I don't want it to be a thing.
It's a lot of work.
I get it. You're just being lazy.
Heaven forbid in times like these where, you put a little extra effort. It's all good, though. No worries.
Hey, Colin Johnson. Am I a little too excited about the Colin Johnson pick?
I mean, you saw one highlight video and you pretty much lost your mind.
I did.
Let's be honest now.
I said, I retweeted that 5-minute clip.
That I saw.
And I didn't tell him this today when we talked to him, but I did say I fall in love quickly. Why wasn't Colin Johnson a first-round pick?
Okay.
And Gus Johnson should do every touchdown and catch in the game in the NFL for Colin Johnson.
Yeah, I like that.
So his highlight reel was good.
It was.
And I think
too. Hey, it was long, too.
It was like 5 minutes.
That's good.
That is good. It's better than the 20-second
man.
clip.
I could show you my 2-minute highlight reel.
Honest question. Like, if you're, do you want, like, is that a thing? Like, a long tape is better than like a 2-minute one of just the real good stuff?
Yeah, so I made this mistake when I was in high school, coming from a small school in old Scandinavia, sent my highlight tape to everywhere because, back then we didn't have social media, right? So you had to literally make a VHS tape. My highlight tape was 45 minutes long. Not even lying. It was like literally like 3 episodes of The Office combined. That's how long it was. And
what do you have in there? You go in the refrigerator at night?
Brent, believe me when I say they're all highlights, okay? And then they're all ESPN top 10 highlights that I had for 45 minutes. And I heard a little feedback on it down the line, and just send us like 5 minutes worth. But we don't need 45 minutes of highlight footage, but that's what I had, man.
An entire movie.
Yeah, but basically, man, it's insane.
Okay, so here's why I'm excited about Colin Johnson, seriously. 6'6", that's different than what the Jags have.
Yep.
Right? We talked about that going in the draft. That's why you like the Pittman, who was 6'4", and
correct.
And Claypool, Higgins as well, right?
Yep.
You had some size that you don't really have on this roster like that.
Red zone threats, Brent.
6'6", so I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, let's be honest, I'm a little bit probably more excited about Colin Johnson because they didn't add a lot on offense. So what they gave us on offense was a little bit of a project offensive lineman. So I'm going to kind of push that one aside. But they gave us Chenault and Colin Johnson. That's where the offense can be impacted this year.
Correct.
Unless a running back shows up or an undrafted free agent. But I think that's why there's a level of excitement about Colin Johnson, who was drafted in the 5th round. Hey, good guy, cool guy. I mean, I think you're going to hear that a lot. By the way, this whole draft class is full of them.
Yeah.
They really are. And again, I agree with Doug Marrone when he says this. Well, don't knock that. Why not celebrate that?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm with you, man.
Especially if you score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And you win football games. So here he is. Colin Johnson, caught up with him this afternoon. He's out in San Jose, California. I love this Zoom stuff. We don't have to wait for him to get to Jacksonville. We appreciate him taking a few minutes. From Matthew McConaughey to Gus Johnson to how he fits here in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. And he got a text from Gardner Minshew as well after the draft. My conversation with Colin Johnson.
Hey, welcome, Colin Johnson, 5th-round pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver from Texas, adds to a Jaguars. Hey, welcome, Colin Johnson, 5th-round pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver from Texas, adds to a Jaguars offense, hopefully in 2020. He's out in San Jose, California. First of all, man, congratulations, and I hope you and your family are doing well amidst the coronavirus out there in San Jose.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're all doing well, and I'm glad to be here and glad to be a Jaguar.
Well, it was just a few days ago now that you got drafted. What since then? The emotions of it, are you still feeling them, or has that turned the corner a little bit?
Definitely still feeling the emotions, but just not the way you feel it on the first day when you get the call and then everyone's calling your phone afterwards, and you're just trying to soak it all in, and there's just so much going on. So now it's more, all right, sit back, let's get a plan, in terms of, workouts, and I know where I'm going to live. So now I can start thinking a little bit more ahead, and I know what team I'm going to play for. So kind of those type of emotions, but I'm just excited to get to work and excited to be there. And I can't wait.
You mentioned all those things that go into it now. I almost wonder for you guys, because of the uncertainty of right now, where you don't know when there'll be a mini camp or when you can get to Jacksonville, or even if they're going to play in September football at the collegiate level or even in the NFL. Does it go from the emotions, the celebration, to kind of a bit of uncertainty right now in your lives?
You can't let the uncertainty kind of overtake the celebration. I've been working my whole life, and all these guys who got drafted have been working their whole lives for this opportunity. So once I got the call, I was so thankful. But now it's just time to get to work. And like you said, we don't know whether we can get a call in 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. First time the team sees us is training camp. If we even have a season, we don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to focus on being the best football player I could be. And now for my new team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they're going to get my best, and I don't care what we're going through. I'm just going to continue to find a way to get better, even during this pandemic, and be ready when my time comes in Jacksonville.
Before moving forward, let me go back to Saturday one more time. Give us a sense of how many texts and calls and those kind of things that you got. And was there an image from that day that kind of still plays out? You go to bed at night, or you wake up in the morning and you kind of see this image, or maybe it was a text, or was it a fun one? Give us a little bit of a sense of behind the scenes on your draft day of what you'll remember, maybe even tell your grandkids about someday.
The simple thing, they talk about the call. Everyone talks about the call, and I'm just sitting there throughout, 3 days waiting for my opportunity. And first off, that process is a lot harder, than I thought it would be. So I'm sitting there, and I remember just like being frustrated because obviously I want to be the best. I felt like I had a good college career, and I just, it's hard to see 164 people get drafted before you. But at the end of the day, it's a part of it. So I was laying on the couch, and I remember just like putting my hood on and laying there just frustrated. And then I remember I heard my phone ring, and I looked up, and it just said Jaguars on it. And I just had the biggest feeling of relief. And I didn't even have the number saved. It just said Jaguars. So that's how I knew it was just official, and it was time. And that's the call everyone was talking about. So I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And my whole family was just kind of going crazy. And then I had to tell them to calm down before I answered it. So
good stuff. Do you think the Jags got a steal at 165 with you?
It's not how you enter the NFL, it's how you leave it. I was actually talking to Coach McCardle, the receivers coach, and he was, I believe, a 12th round pick. And in Maryland, he coached Stephon Diggs, which is a 5th round pick. So he just tells me all the time, it's not how you enter the NFL, it's how you leave it. So at the end of the day, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, then I want people to be, answering that question for me. I'm not in the position to say I was a steal now, but I want to definitely put in the work and prove myself in Jacksonville. So down the road, people could use me as motivation. Like Colin Johnson was a 5th round pick, and look what he's done in the NFL.
How much homework have you done in the last few days? Maybe conversations from a coaching staff, or just kind of looking up Jay Gruden, what he did with 6'6" kind of receivers in the past, or what kind of homework have you done on the Jags, on the offense, on what you might walk into here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I've done homework. I'm still continuing to do more. I think Marquise Colston was one of the receivers that they compared me to in the Saints. So I did a little research on him. Big guy, really good at going up and getting the ball. And the GM Caldwell, he mentioned that on our phone call. He said I remind him of him. So I did my research on him. I've done my research on Jacksonville. My position coach, he played at Jacksonville at a really high level for a long time, and played in the league for like 17 years. So I've been continuing to do my research. Jacksonville sounds like an amazing place to play, and I can't wait to get in there. And I promise they're going to get everything I got.
Have you heard from Minshew yet?
I have. Right when I got drafted, he actually texted me. And as you're going through all the text messages, I try to find like the important ones first, and like family and people like that I got to respond, that I want to respond to first. And when I saw Minshew, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He reached out this early. So that honestly, meant a lot to me. Just a simple, act like that meant a lot to me. But I'm just excited to get to work with him. And that's what I said. I said, thank you for the congratulations, and I can't wait to get to work.
Do you get the sense, kind of, like, I guess we feel around here like, hey, 6'6" guy, that's a red zone guy to start, and then who knows where it goes from there? But do you get the sense that, that is what you bring to the NFL, at least in the immediate?
I think in the immediate, for sure, you can't teach 6'6", and I remember talking to my agent, talking to my family, and they kept saying, whoever drafts you is going to have a plan for you, because being 6'6", some teams overlook that and don't like that, and some teams like that. But whoever drafts me is going to have a plan for me. So I'm trusting, they're going to have a plan for me, whether it's in the red zone or whatever. But right now, my main focus is to make the team. I want to make the 53-man roster, and I'll do whatever it takes. I'll play every special team if it comes to that. I'll play slot, outside, only in the red zone. Like, I'll play offensive tackle. I don't care. Like, that's my mindset. Like, I just want to figure out a way to make the team. And I'll go from there and continue to take steps towards being the complete player I know I can be.
Somebody put like a 5-minute highlight reel out of you, and I tweeted after that. I saw it. I said, I don't know why this guy wasn't a first-round pick. But what really jumped out at me was the Gus Johnson calls. Is a Gus Johnson called highlight better than a regular touchdown or a regular catch?
Oh, my gosh. Is that the announcer you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, he makes me look a lot better than I probably am with him announcing. He's screaming. It'll be like a simple first down catch, and he'd be like, Johnson. So it's that's funny. Yeah, people at Texas always like try to imitate his voice when they see me or I make a catch in practice, saying Johnson real loud. But he was definitely a fun one. He was probably my favorite announcer in college for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, your brother is still at Texas, right?
He just graduated. We both graduated in December.
Okay, so how was that? What was that dynamic like? Obviously, you guys must be pretty close.
Yeah, we're pretty close, and the dynamic was cool. We obviously, I'm sorry, all these birds in the background.
Oh, you're fine, man. It adds to it.
It adds to it, yeah. But yeah, my brother, it's a dream, right? You play football and Pop Warner together, high school together, and then college together. And unfortunately, it didn't go the exact way we had planned because of injury to him. And when he finally got a chance in the field, I was hurt my senior year, so it was kind of back and forth. But we got a chance to play together on special teams, and more importantly, just go through the process together. So it was really special.
We see Matthew McConaughey in that and throwing up the horns there a little bit, and always at a Texas game on Saturdays. Is he really that close to the program? I mean, was that kind of cool?
Very cool, very cool. Very close. One of the biggest Texas fans I know, and it's like, how are you a fan of us? Like, we're all fans of you, but he's just a genuine guy. He could have a conversation with anybody. He'll sit there and he'll talk to, Sam Mellinger, the starting quarterback, or he'll talk to a walk-on that not many people knows his name. Like, he's that type of guy. He just loves talking football, and he's always around the program just for in the most genuine way. So he's a huge support system for myself and all of UT, and it's really great to have him.
Hey, how hard is it going to be to pick a place in Jacksonville, even though you might not get here for a while? I mean, you don't want to be going through all that stuff, right, during camp and when you're getting here. You said your position coach talked about it, but what do you know about Jacksonville? How much homework are you doing about the 904?
Yeah, I've been doing my homework a little bit on Duval. That's the county, right? Everyone says Duval. Yeah, so
hey, you're off to a good start.
I'm off to a good start for sure. And in terms of Jacksonville, man, all I know is it sounds like a great place to live, and you got the beach, you got the lakes, you got basically it all. So I'm just trying to look at some neighborhoods I like and stuff. But like I said, my main focus is making a team. But I'll have an idea of where I want to live once I get there, and I may stay in the hotel. I think the team puts you up for a little bit, but I definitely will have an idea once that time comes.
West Coast guy living on the East Coast. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm slowly making my way to the East Coast. Born in California, went to Texas, and now I'm in Florida. So not bad places to be throughout my football career, thus far. But like I said, I'm excited. Florida's a great place. Heard great things about it. And Jacksonville sounds like a community that really, really loves their football. And I'm excited to do everything I can to help them win games and, help them just get put back on the map, So I'm just excited.
Very cool, man. Hey, last one for you. Without you work so hard getting into the draft process, from the end of the season. I always say that you guys don't really get a break. Well, now you're kind of getting a break, even though it's unplanned because of what's going on in the world right now. Are you taking advantage of that? Are you're resting your body? What do you do to kind of stay ready, both mentally and physically, but also maybe stay fresh for what's about to come in this season?
Yeah, I think it's all about perspective. Life is literally on pause per se. Like it's different. So, but now's the time to do things that you maybe didn't have time to do earlier. Like just read a book, spend time with your family, go on a hike. Me and my girlfriend were out in her front yard doing gardening work, like just for fun. She was like, "I want to garden." I was like, "Well, I got nothing else to do now besides workout, so I'll help you garden." Like that type of deal. You can do whatever you want. So it's about relaxing, enjoying the little things, but also figuring out time to put in the work. So I work out every day. We got weights in the backyard, and I go to a few fields around here that I know that I can do conditioning and route running at.
Colin Johnson, great to talk to you, man. Can't wait to see you scoring some touchdowns in a Jags uniform.
Thank you, Brent. Can't wait.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this guy was made for interviews, right? Like it was a good interview. The guy's a very great talker, and we kind of talked about it before the segment a little bit. If you're in college right now, and if you're a student athlete, and you want an idea of who to kind of set your social media to, follow Colin Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell him about it. You've got great perspective here. This is really good.
Yeah. So Colin Johnson, his senior year. Well, first of all, we should start by saying the fact that he went back his senior year is something in itself, right? Because everyone was saying, come out your junior year. You got the talent. You got the size, obviously. Come out your junior year and go to the NFL. Make your money. And he opted not to do that for a couple reasons. Number one, wanted to win a Big 12 championship. Obviously didn't do that, unfortunately. Number two, wanted to play with his brother. He mentioned his brother a little bit. They each had injuries during conflicting seasons, so he never had a chance to share the field with his brother. Well, he did this past season. And then, the third reason why he came back was because unfinished business, right? I got to talk about that a little bit with the championship. So to me, it says a lot about who he is as a person already from the fact that he wanted to graduate, he wanted to play with his brother, and he wanted to win a championship. So you like to hear that stuff. But why I'm a big fan of this kid is his YouTube channel, okay? He set up a YouTube channel during the season that kind of gives you behind-the-scenes access a little bit, obviously, of the Texas football program, okay? Now, to some people, it's like, well, is that really big a deal? Like, I'm sitting here in Jacksonville. Well, what's the big deal about that? Keep in mind, he's at Texas. Texas is they have a great following, right? So he set up a YouTube account, obviously didn't get any monetary value off that, didn't make any money off it, but he's got the followers, he has the subscribers, so by the time he shared the videos of him getting drafted and all that stuff, by the time he got to the league, he's got something there. It's like he invested his senior year into this YouTube account, and now that he's in the pros, he can make money off it. It's something there. It's something a little extra. So it's pretty cool. Very smart.
And also, like you had mentioned, just like a little blueprint, perhaps.
Exactly.
For what we talked about earlier in the show, the NCAA allowing some new things happening down the road in 2021, 2022. You could maybe do things like this.
Listen, in terms of access, fans eat that up. Fans want to see behind the scenes. Fans want to see in the locker room. Fans want to see players just outside the field, but in their normal lives as well. That's what he brought to YouTube. And I think more people are going to follow that suit.
So, and I'm just taking it from that comment to some of the YouTubers that I know. They essentially have a crew that follows them and does videos and stuff like that. So will it get to a point where college teams are like, no, we can't. You can't have an entire crew here for 5 different players filming and doing a thing.
It's really funny you say that in college because it's happened in the NFL a little bit. In fact, last year, DeJuan Smoot had his own crew out there filming stuff for his social media. And I can't imagine you could. It's hard to say no. You want to welcome some of that, but you also couldn't have 30 players having 3 or 4 guys.
Well, no, and listen, I don't think people, necessarily really eat that up. Like, I think what makes, Colin Johnson's YouTube page so great is because it's not that. It's not overly produced. It's him in a car talking to a teammate,
a little day in the life.
Or it's him, like, in the locker room just talking to somebody. Like, people can, I think, even associate with more of that than as opposed to having this big production and all this stuff around it.
Yeah, I think the more raw, authentic stuff. These days, people eat that up. They like that.
Correct.
By the way, he mentioned Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
And it is funny. Gus Johnson, I love him. I mean, he's fantastic, the energy he brings. But I wanted to get his reaction because in that highlight reel, there's a lot of Gus Johnson.
Sure.
Gus Johnson does a lot of the Big 12 games on Fox. And he nailed it. He said it's something different when he broadcasts your games and you make a catch for a first down and it sounds like a touchdown. Listen to some of the Gus Johnson calls from Colin Johnson catching passes at Texas.
Ehlinger steps into his throwing, delivers a dart. Colin Johnson, look at the run after the catch. All 6'6" of him. Kenneth Murray had to track him down from behind. 2nd down and 8 at the 9-yard line. Ehlinger goes to the sideline, and it's caught at the 29-yard line. On 2nd and 8, they'll pick up 20 yards. Colin Johnson hauls it in. Here's the pass. Ehlinger underneath. Caught Colin Johnson. He won't go drop that one, partner.
Because look at this. Full extension, and he brings it in.
Hello, Gus Johnson on Colin Johnson from the Oklahoma-Texas game. Colin Johnson, I think he's going to be a lot of fun around here in Jacksonville. I'm really excited to see how they use him and Chenault. I really am. Now, listen, I might be overplaying a bit. You got to make the adjustment to the NFL. You got to get acclimated. You got to earn your stripes, all that. I understand. But those two guys do bring a different element, and I'm at least happy with that. Did they get enough on offense? Did they do as much as a lot of fans wanted them to do? Probably not.
Yeah.
But they did add 2 elements that just have not existed. And 6'6" guy, at least in the red zone, and Chenault is like playing a video game where you can use him.
Well, and you got to think, too, him and Gardner Minshew should get along just fine, right? Because coming from University of Texas, where Sam Ehlinger is kind of a character to himself, right? Sam Ehlinger, he's got the celebrations, he's got the swag. Well, now he's in the locker room with Gardner Minshew, so he doesn't really miss a step there. So I'm curious to see, not only can they develop a chemistry in the locker room, but also on the field as well.
The Jaguars have 90 players on their roster. They just drafted 12 and signed 18 undrafted free agents. 30 of the 90 are rookies. 1/3 of the roster.
Crazy.
They're rookies.
Crazy.
I mean, that's probably not that far off than what you know. Maybe you sign 14 undrafteds and you draft 8. So, but 30 out of 90 just seems wow. And then on top of that, think about some of the guys they're relying on. Minshew, 2nd-year guy. Jawan Taylor, 2nd-year guy.
Josh Allen,
2nd-year guy. DJ Chark, 3rd-year guy. And we could go on and on, but you get the point. It is a young football team, but that could make it a really fun football team. Sometimes what you don't know.
I mean, yeah, it could be fun. I mean, how successful is that going to be? We'll see,
Yeah, does age win? Listen, they got faster.
Experience
they got
helps.
younger.
Yeah.
Experience certainly helps.
Yeah.
Do they have enough of it with Brandon Linder, with Chris Conley, with those kind of guys in the lot? Well, I would think Miles Jack can now be that older guy. Joe Schobert, kind of an older guy, right?
Yep.
I mean, do they have enough of that presence on the roster? We'll find out.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when we come back, man, we got more news on Telvin Smith. Not sure if you've been. Oh, yeah, he's been charged. So.
All right. We'll get the latest on Telvin Smith. I do have a thought on Colin Kaepernick. It's a random one, and it might be a foolish one, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. It's coming up next on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy clouds thicken tonight with a shower or a thunderstorm late as we drop into the 60s. Rain, a few thunderstorms in the morning tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s, and then back into the sun for Friday, breezy and less humid with a high near 80. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
These can be unsettling times, but CGC Water Treatment wants you to know that they are there for you and your family. CGC Water Treatment has 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier Softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the stores are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Chronic or acute pain doesn't just disappear during a crisis, and neither does Cora Physical Therapy. Throughout this time, Cora remains dedicated to your health and safety. With 15 Jacksonville area clinics, Cora Physical Therapy provides quality care wherever you're most comfortable. In clinic, where we disinfect after every touch. Telehealth gives you remote access to licensed therapists, or Cora therapists will even come to you. We are grateful for our patients' trust and our clinicians' bravery. What matters most is your health, so Cora provides care anywhere you prefer it. Learn more at coraphysicaltherapy.com.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Birkin Chevrolet, Four Quarters IT, Barron NDT, Jax Electric, Cafe Adiamo, Narducci Dental. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Our normal way of life has been changing quickly due to coronavirus. New rules to follow, and basically all sports have been put on hold. Heck, you might even be working from home. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you're not in the car from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., check in on Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Hi, I'm Danny Warfel, 1996 Heisman winner, and you're watching Action Sports Jax.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Austin Lane told you moments ago before we went to break that we have some new news on Telvin Smith, and we've been following the story the entire afternoon. We knew something was up and was going down. And, well, it has gone down for the 29-year-old former Jags player. Telvin Smith is in custody, in jail, and charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. I am not a lawyer, and I don't know if minor would normally be plural there or not. But I read it as plural. So that's the latest on Telvin Smith. Unlawful sexual activity with certain minors, $50,000 bond, and arrested this afternoon and booked at 5:20, so just a short time ago. Now, I'll tell you this, just to go back on this story for a moment. We've been talking about it a little bit, top of the show, and then even during the 4 o'clock hour. So if you want to catch up on the Telvin Smith saga, you can do so, as always. I'm just going to give you what happened in the last, I would say 6 months now, going back to November. Initial police presence at his house, and people wondered. It was on his property that he owned. Was it Telvin Smith? They had actually taken a vehicle at that time. off his property, and that was that. For every couple of weeks and month, I will tell you, at our Action News Jax news department, we question JSO. Anything new, still under investigation. Now, did we hear that sexual activity with minors could be part of this? Absolutely, we heard. That earlier in the show was something I was unwilling to share until we got more information on. And so now that he's been charged, sexual activity with certain minors, unlawful sexual activity with certain minors, gives us a little bit more of an indication of what was being investigated over the last few months. I just want to update you on the story in the last 24 hours. This is, to me, it's just ironic that this news comes down today, because this morning around 10 o'clock, I emailed our news desk and asked them if they had anything new on Telvin Smith. And they did not. But they said, we'll check in with JSO. Well, by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm getting texts from our newsroom asking, hey, are you hearing that there's a SWAT team outside of Telvin's house in Queens Harbor again? And that led to, well, a confirmation there was police activity. Then he was taken into custody, and neighbors saw that happen. And now him being booked for charges of unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. I'm not trying to tell you that the two are related. We checked with JSO today. I just think the timing was was just, in my mind, baffling that we actually checked in on Telvin Smith's situation this morning and hadn't really heard much in about 2 months. And then this afternoon, he was arrested after a very long investigation. To me, it was a long investigation. Maybe this is normal, but we're talking 6 months ago. They first started investigating something on Telvin Smith. He has since been taken into custody. I will also tell you why the police presence. There was a chance, at least somebody told me this, and again, this is kind of secondhand, but somebody said in these processes that they may have asked him to turn himself in, and he didn't. And so, therefore, they went to the house to get him and take him into custody, and therefore the SWAT team is also brought out just as a precaution. So that's why some of that activity was going on. Maybe the last 2 or 3 days they asked him to turn himself in, and he did not. But the latest is Telvin Smith, former Jags linebacker, former Jags Pro Bowler, 5th-round pick, is now in jail in Jacksonville and charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors and a $50,000 bond.
So, according to the Florida government website, this is pretty reliable information. The unlawful sexual activity with certain minors, it states that it can be either one or multiple. So just because it says minors and it's plural doesn't mean it's actually plural.
I was curious about that.
I'm not sure what it is, obviously, but that's what it means. So just thought I'd clear that up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good clarification. Yeah. Listen, I think we were afraid of this for Telvin Smith. There's two different parts of this stuff that goes on, in my opinion. One, it's the football side. And as a sports show, and we talk Jaguars a ton, and we follow the Jags very closely, obviously, and have for a long time. You played for the Jags, so you know of these kind of situations around the NFL anyway. But from a football standpoint, this guy was a Pro Bowler. He was a good player, and then bam, all of a sudden, everybody wants to say, like, last year's downfall and the beef with management and everything else started with Jalen Ramsey and what transpired, or maybe even Yannick Ngakoue in terms of holding out. Mm-hmm. It really started with Telvin Smith to some degree.
Well, one can think it started with Tom Coughlin actually saying that he expects 100% participation.
True. Well, but even that is related to Telvin Smith because he didn't show up for OTAs.
Correct.
So that's a very good point. So from a football standpoint, it was that side of it. But I always say Telvin Smith got forgotten quickly. It was like, okay, he's not playing football. See you later. Now, he didn't have a great year in 2018. And he's also leaving $10 million on the table to not play. So his reasoning for not playing had to be pretty substantial, in my opinion. And I will once again say I've heard various reasons, and I think it was a multitude of reasons why he didn't play, unrelated to this. Everything I've heard, that he didn't play. But now you go fast forward to really the more important side, and that's now this after football. What's going on with Telvin Smith? The guy that we saw at a Raines High School football game on a Friday night looked like he weighed 170 pounds. He was not ready to play football. A guy that took to social media a couple of different times in the last year and was like, oh, boy, what is he doing?
Yep.
And now a guy that had police presence and SWAT teams and outside his home in Queens Harbor twice now in 6 months and has now been arrested for unlawful sexual activity with minors. And that becomes the story. That's the new story. That's the new Telvin Smith. His football career appears to be over anyway, regardless of what happened today.
Make no mistake, it's done.
So
okay? It's done.
Now he's in trouble with the law.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I don't know what this charge. I mean, I know what this charge means. Obviously, I don't know like how in depth is it? How many minors are we talking about? What the circumstances are? But all I know is when you get charged for something like this ruins your life. Okay, this follows you for the rest of your life. So number one, yeah, kiss football goodbye. You're done there. Like you can't do what you did and expect to play football again. At least in my eyes. Who knows? But to me, you're done playing football. And to me now, man, like your life completely changes. Like it's one thing, and listen, this is my opinion here, but if it's a drug charge, something like that, I think I can be a little more understandable. Like I get it, man. It's part of the culture. Sometimes I'm in the league, partying and all that stuff. I can understand that, man. But to me, the whole minor thing, that crosses the line. Okay, and that obviously in society, that it's looked down upon a lot more than drug charges, than weapons charges. Like this is not good for Telvin Smith. Once again, we'll find out more, hopefully, the details involved. But just from the charge alone, Brent, it's not good.
Here's the thing, too. Telvin Smith, and I don't want you to put this aside because this is now part of the story, but Telvin Smith is a mystery. People don't know the exact reason, or they're not willing to share. There might be some close. Maybe a Jalen does. Maybe Puz knows, who was close to him, why he got out of football. And again, I'm telling you that I feel like there were multiple reasons why he got out of football. That's what I've heard from various folks. But nobody can quite pinpoint the exact reason. So, and in addition to that, there was some talk, and I don't know how true this was, but that he hadn't talked to his agent in months around that time. Like he had just basically cut ties with a lot of people. So people that were close to him that you could maybe get some information from, they didn't really know what was going on with Telvin Smith either.
Yeah.
From a football standpoint in his agent and representatives, from a football standpoint to the Jacksonville Jaguars where there was no communication. Remember, we talked about that at length, right? I mean, we debuted our show in January 2018, and the first couple of months, this Telvin Smith story hit, but there was zero communication about what was going on. And then I think there was one time where somebody had talked to him, but very little communication and details that the Jaguars even knew or could offer. And maybe there's a difference there, would offer rather than no. But it's really hard in today's day and age for a guy to say, I'm done with football. I want to say it was in March of last year. I'm done with football, and we don't know why.
Well, I mean, but listen, to me, it's a couple of things. Either A, it stopped being fun. B, you were mentally there and you had to walk away. Or C, it could be like a combination of drugs. I mean, like to me, like there's not a lot of options here, Brent. Like you talked to the guy. You knew how much he cared about the game of football. So either the game stopped being fun for him or mentally something was up. I mean, to me, like those are the only two possibilities. Like what else could there be?
Well,
I mean, unless you know something I don't.
Yeah, I was sorry. I was texting and trying to get somebody on, but I don't love football, and what was the other reason?
Either he stopped loving the game of football, didn't want to go to work anymore, or mentally something was wrong with him.
Yeah, and those could be reasons. I think it's fair to wonder about everything that was going on, even why the Jalen Ramsey's reasons and the Jan reasons, could that be a part of it? I wonder if personal life stuff, whether it was girlfriends, kids, anything could be a part of it. You could go a bunch of different ways with this. Coaches, did he see eye to eye with? All as I can tell from people inside the Jags organization is they saw a shift in Telvin Smith in 2018, somewhere in the course of that year.
Yeah.
And they saw that love of the game that we all talk about and that we saw, that we thought that was Telvin Smith, kind of change a little bit. We saw a Telvin Smith that was supposed to be wearing the captain jersey and be a leader on that football team, really be one of the ringleaders of that team going south in 2018. So those things, I think, are true. The other stuff of why is still more conjecture and guessing, which I'm not really comfortable throwing out everything I've heard until someone else will substantiate it or somebody will give it to us or say it. I just really find it, along with this story, before all this went down today and even in November, so unusual in this day and age for somebody not to talk about it, say it publicly, share it. Even on social media, remember, you would almost try to interpret what he was saying. Like cryptic tweets were like,
that's everybody. Yeah, for sure.
So it's a really tough one to quite figure out and put the pieces together on Telvin Smith. Now, what's not difficult to put the pieces together is what you just said, and now this legal part of it. In November, folks, police outside his house, investigation begins, and 6 months later, investigation at least looks to be over, and charges for unlawful sexual activity with minors. And read what you said again, because I think this is important. Minor versus minors. What did the Florida law say?
I mean, do you want me to read the whole charge?
No, just clarify the way you interpret it. Because what minor sounds like is that means there's multiple.
Correct. So he was charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. And according to, once again, it's floridasenate.gov, which is the state website, basically it says that it can be one or multiple persons. So just because the word minors is put here in the charge does not mean that it's more than one person. Now, it very well could be. I'm just saying this is what the website tells me.
All right. John Phillips, we got him on the line. We're going to bring John Phillips into the fold here. And by the way, I just shared the police report with John, so he's just getting this. But I hate talking legalese things that I don't know well enough. And I know people are really curious about the information out there. What we do know now, John, is that Telvin Smith is in jail as of 5:20 this evening, and he has been charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Can you kind of tell us what that could mean? Because everybody's wondering, is that one person, more than one person? And by the way, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Facts will come out. Obviously, insert all disclaimers here. Someone is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. What concerns me most is this is exactly what I heard last time. But they got the arrest they didn't make an arrest, but they didn't have their ducks in a row and just kind of pushed it until their investigation, I guess, revealed that indeed Mr. Smith and some minor or minors had relationships. And obviously, so anytime someone over 24 or so, there's some, Romeo and Juliet exceptions to this if you're 21 and your girlfriend's 18, 17. But anytime somebody over 24 is having sexual relations with somebody 16 or 17, that's illegal and it's a problem. But I think most reasonable people will agree it kind of, there may be variances of significance. Did he know? That would change the facts. Mm-hmm. It may not change the law he violated, but it changed the facts. Was this, did the person's parents know? Was this a relationship, or was this, something more deviant? And we just don't know those facts. But I hated when I heard from police and prosecutors that that's what this was late last year, and to see it go down this way, it's just a sad day for a guy that really was publicly facing a pretty good guy. It's the guy we knew was Telvin was a pretty good guy publicly facing.
John Phillips with us to kind of give us a little bit more insight on the legal part of this for Telvin Smith. And just as a disclaimer, I just texted in this segment John and asked him if he would just come on and provide us a little bit of insight. He obviously, this is a charge that just happened in the last hour, but we have heard similar stories too over the last 5 or 6 months, John, as you mentioned, and now it comes to fruition today. Unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. I'll just keep you and ask you this one question. What does happen now going forward for Telvin Smith?
Short term, he's already either said or not spoken to police last year on this. Bond was posted. I saw that or bond was issued. So he will have a first, like anybody. If they got arrested, he'll have a first appearance in front of a judge. Things are a little different now because of COVID, but he'll have a first appearance. He'll be able to bond out. He'll meet with his attorneys and start putting up a legal defense. And again, this isn't something that he didn't know about. This isn't a new thing where he got pulled over for a DUI and had no idea this was coming. This is something that his legal team has probably worked through to this point. And so he's he'll bond out. He'll be eligible for bond. And things are a little slower in the criminal justice system than they usually are because of COVID. But there'll be hearings and ultimately a trial date will be set, and we'll learn more about the evidence here as things progress. But I didn't say it in the first go around, but let me express this is I think a second degree felony. This is a significant charge, dozens and dozens and dozens of years in jail, depending upon how many victims there are and the complicating factors.
Wow, that does give us some insight. I will. I lied to you. I'm going to ask you one more. I shouldn't lie to a lawyer, right? But the 6 months from the start to now, is that normal?
These are complicated cases. There's nothing really normal in minor sex cases. The whole thing that happened then was odd. That was abnormal. You don't go to the door to make an arrest and have the insiders under the criminal justice system talking about sex with a minor and then say nothing to see here and no release is ever made. I've never seen that happen. But look, sometimes police and prosecutors make mistakes. And I know last time some people got in trouble because too much information was released. But any sports town, but particularly, the hometown Jaguars, fans consume this stuff. Telvin again was well respected. I am concerned, gravely concerned as a father about any allegations that involve sexual relations with a minor. He's up for a long battle in the courts, out of the courts, and everywhere else.
John Phillips, hey, thanks for joining us on Short Order, man. Really helpful to the listeners and viewers and trying to figure out what's next for Telvin Smith as he is charged today with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Hope you and your family are doing well during this time.
Thank you, Brent. Y'all too.
All right, that's John Phillips here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And, well, I think he answered a bunch of the questions, right? Kind of saying what it is exactly, but how serious it is, too. And I would suspect just by the title of this, it's a very serious charge. But there are levels of seriousness as well, and what it could mean for Telvin Smith as he goes through the legal process here. Once again, I think it's all new in the last hour in terms of the actual charge for Telvin Smith, former Jaguars linebacker. I can tell you again, we were questioning about this morning just in our newsroom. And all of a sudden this afternoon, there was police presence and a SWAT team outside the home of Telvin Smith at Queens Harbor for the second time in 6 months. And hours later, he was in handcuffs, arrested, and brought downtown and charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors, $50,000 bond. We'll see what happens next, but this is just the beginning of the next chapter, what could be a bad one for Telvin Smith. I will say this from a football standpoint. I inquired a little today. Remember, the dollars were essentially frozen that the Jaguars had on the table for, I think it was like $9-point-something million for Telvin Smith. There really is no impact anymore on the dollars from what I can ascertain from the Jags. Like, there is no, well, if he gets this, if he does this, if he comes back. They've washed their hands of Telvin Smith. The dollars are no longer, it doesn't look like they don't have to take him back. None of that. And I thought, believe me, the last 24 hours brought this up a little bit, was the moving on of Telvin Smith was certainly indicated by the fact that Shaq Quarterman is going to wear number 50 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, fourth-round draft pick. That was Telvin Smith's number. So any anticipation of Telvin Smith returning in some form, even prior to this news today, looked like it wasn't going to happen. Jaguars don't have to worry about cap space and all of that. So from a football perspective, that's what I could gather today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's been a crazy couple years, right, for this Jaguars organization, and it really started with Telvin Smith not coming back to play football. And you could chalk it up to a cautionary tale, man. All right, like this guy had everything. This guy was a Pro Bowler. This guy was a fifth-round pick, defied all expectations, paved the way for himself, and he was a leader in that locker room. And now he is where he's at, and I get it, innocent until proven guilty. So we'll wait back and see what happens there. But to even be charged with this kind of thing, it's serious. It's not good for him, and we'll see where it goes from here.
According to Mike DiRocco, the Jaguars issued a statement on former player Telvin Smith. Jaguars are aware of the report involving former linebacker Telvin Smith. They even put it in their statement, former linebacker Telvin Smith. The club is unable to comment further on this ongoing investigation. So, I mean, just a formality there. Probably have that one on a copy and paste ready to go. Just change name just in case. But nothing new with the Jags. Again, the Jags don't have to. This is not a Jags player to them. This is no different than a guy that played 10 years ago for the Jags ending up on the police blotter.
No, he's not a player for the Jaguars, but still, he's got relationships in that building.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean,
I don't mean to sound insensitive to that.
People,
I'm just saying they don't have to. They don't have to keep an eye on this from a league standpoint or anything like that with Telvin Smith. So the sad saga of Telvin Smith does continue here today in Jacksonville. He has been arrested for unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. It's a second-degree felony here in the state of Florida. $50,000 bond, and, of course, all the legalities that will now take place. Has a right to prove his innocence along the way. A 6-month investigation. Looks like it is all wrapped up with Telvin Smith in handcuffs. So that's going to do it. A strange way to end the show, but we told you we'd keep you updated on the Telvin Smith situation when we started the show and how things have materialized throughout the afternoon. We'll keep you posted on the TV side throughout the rest of the night, CBS 47 and Fox 30. I'll see you then, and tomorrow we'll be back at it here on radio and on our video platforms, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Have a good night, everybody.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
This is Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and it's time for the truth. The two most powerful words, and at times most painful words, are the words, I'm sorry. But remember this, when you say you're sorry, it's far better to show how sorry you are. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. This has been Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and the truth will make you free.
They say it should be impossible for bumblebees to fly because their wings are too small for their bodies. But bumblebees don't care. They just fly. Bright Expectations is dedicated to helping our Florida residents with special needs and unique abilities find the resources, support, and inspiration that they and their families need to break barriers and achieve their dreams. Visit www.brightexpectations.com to start your journey today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Fencegate Fence Company, Junior Seafood, Franklin Water Softener, Bonavedra Golf Cart, Bear Boat Fiberglass and Repair, Jimmy Diamond Exit Realty. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
With COVID-19, more local families than ever need food. Our seniors require extra support, and kids stuck at home could use something to smile about. A gift in any amount will make a big difference, especially when you give through Jewish Family and Community Services. Thanks to the Max Block Food Pantry Matching Challenge, your donation will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jax. Learn more at hereforjax.com.
Ortho Edge understands the need for medical treatment in times of uncertainty, so the office will remain open. Ortho Edge takes your health and safety as well as the well-being of staff very seriously. All patients will be screened for COVID-19 symptoms, and strict sterilization and disinfection procedures are in place. Ortho Edge also offers telemedicine, giving patients the ability to receive care via video chat from the safety of their home. Visit orthoedge.com or call 204-5000. Ortho Edge, located in the DePaul Building, St. Vincent's, Riverside. This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Hodges Mazda, Wolford Roofing and Waterproofing, Darley's Plumbing, Stevenson Collision Center, One Roof, Red's Resod. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
It's time to get out there and make one-to-one contact. Yep, that's what we said. Make contact with the right potential employees. If you're a hiring manager or run your own business, this is the time to reimagine your workforce. It's time to build that talent pipeline you've never had time to focus on building. Career Builder can help you match your business needs with over 140 job seeker profiles. These are proactive job seekers who have the time to research and care about your company and its culture. And when you're ready to hit reboot, Career Builder will help you staff up more quickly with a 98% match rate, meaning Career Builder matches your open roles with vetted, qualified candidates right to your inbox. Visit hiring.careerbuilder.com to view our products, post a job, get insider advice, and let our technology connect you to top talent. Now, more than ever, we're working to support the mainstream American workforce and to help you rebuild fast. Visit hiring.careerbuilder.com. Career Builder, we're building for you.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Reporter has covered the Packers for 4 decades and writes that he thinks that LaFleur, quote, simply had enough of Rodgers' act and wanted to change the narrative in an effort to, quote, gain leverage with their imperial quarterback and his impassive, aggressive style. Okay, so before we even get to Brett Favre, let's address that. Is it that serious?
Well, I mean, would you be surprised? I guess I can be led down that path, Sarah, because, look, when Matt LaFleur was hired, people thought there was drama there. And this is on the heels of McCarthy being shown the door because him and Rodgers were at odds. So it wouldn't be surprising to me that Aaron Rodgers doesn't see eye to eye with the coach, and Aaron Rodgers sees himself as bigger than the franchise and the team. So I could easily believe that, being on the outside looking in. It's not far-fetched.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me when you have – this is coming from someone whose team has had 85 quarterbacks in the time that Aaron Rodgers has been starting for them. He's 36 years old, absolutely some injury, absolutely some age eventually going to kick in. But they were 13-3 last year with him, and without, all sorts of other bells and whistles that I think could have made them better, and with a defense that would continually let them down. So this is all a shock. But not shocking to me based on the poll that you and I put up last night, Jordan. We said, okay,